to such a reform stop corruption, before it happens? Or does it help in investigating it after the damage is done? And then we'll ask ourselves in our panel today, what lessons must Ghana take from this Bearco case? In a separate development also, a forensic audit of Ghana's embassy in the United States has uncovered alleged extortion, totaling about $19.3 million from visa and passport applicants. The findings raise serious questions about accountability, oversight, and how Ghana's diplomatic missions are run. The revelations have triggered calls for stronger standard operating procedures, recovery of misappropriated funds, and prosecution of those found culpable. The situation is particularly troubling because embassies, as we know them, are supposed to reflect the integrity of the nation abroad. If citizens seeking legitimate consular services were allegedly forced to make unauthorized payments, the question is who allowed the system to operate that way? And for how long did it operate? When we come back home, the MP for Afuasi Ayebi, Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, has also gone to the Supreme Court. He's challenging directives from the Chief Justice requiring selected judges to sit during legal vacation to hear designated criminal cases. Now, in his writ, Mr. Opon Nkrumah is asking the Supreme Court to declare the directives inconsistent with the 1992 Constitution and therefore null and void. This case has sparked wider debate about judicial independence, administrative discretion, and whether hearing selected cases during vacation creates a perception of unequal treatment. At the center of it all is a key question. Can administrative arrangements within the judiciary be seen as selective justice? And where do we draw the line between judicial efficiency and constitutional safeguards? If time permits us, we'll look at the Court of Appeal in Accra that struck out an application by the Attorney General to stay the execution of its decision acquitting and discharging former Maslok CEO Sedna Tamaklo. With the state withdrawing the application, the legal path is now clear for her release. This happened after the appellate court overturned her previous 10-year prison sentence. This development has raised fresh questions about the state and how it handles its cases, why the application was withdrawn, and what it means for Ghana's fight against corruption. This and many more are the issues we'll be discussing this morning on Current Agenda. Stay tuned and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from the break. Current Agenda, your Saturday morning companion, your most authoritative news analysis program. Well, proudly sponsored again by Bank of Africa and the NPA. This morning on my reflections, I would want to speak on road accidents, the road carnage, and I'm titling it "The Time to Act Is Now." Now, another road crash has happened. And it's another painful reminder that on Ghana's roads, a journey that begins with hope can end in tragedy. Last week, Thursday, on August 13th, on the Accra-Ofankor Road, 11 people were killed and several others injured. This is not just another news item. Behind that figure are parents, children, siblings, friends, colleagues, and loved ones whose lives have been changed, whose lives have been cut short forever. People who are breadwinners of families have now been denied a livelihood. And once again, we are forced to ask, how many more lives must we lose before road safety becomes a national emergency? Now, road crashes are not caused only by bad roads or faulty vehicles. Greater part of this is as a result of human behavior. It remains the major factor. Speeding recklessly, overtaking, distracted driving, driving under the influence, fatigue, and complete disregard for traffic regulations. And one more thing I'll add is poor vehicle maintenance. All of these contribute to the carnage on our roads. We've been talking about awareness. I believe awareness alone is not enough. We need to consistently enforce the road traffic laws or regulations. We've heard the Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Abraham Amaliba. He has announced that there are plans to deploy a technology-driven traffic enforcement system nationwide in 2027. That in itself, but we'll leave it at that. Now, that system, he explains, will use permanent cameras, we use mobile surveillance equipment and other technologies to monitor motorists and detect more than 16 traffic offenses, including speeding and reckless driving. Now, this is a welcome news and a welcome development. We appreciate it when technology helps remove some of the human weaknesses in the traffic enforcement system. When motorists know that when they are overspeeding or when they are driving dangerously, they are violating any of the road offenses or road regulations, they can be detected, they can be documented and penalized automatically. That temptation to want to break the law would reduce, and that we agree. But what we need to understand is that technology must not become another announcement that remains on paper. Already it sounds a bit ridiculous that people are dying in 2026 and we are talking about technology in 2027. But at least we'll take it for a project implementation. But the system that we are talking about must work. Offenders must be prosecuted. I remember somewhere in 2024, there was some POCs that were done where you are driving on the road and you get a text alert on your phone. I know some people received it showing you that you were over speeding. That was in 2024 before change of government. We are being told of 2027, 3 years after. We are waiting. And the process must be transparent. It must be free from political or administrative interference. If we would all remember, some time ago, I think whether it was 2023 or 2024, there was this discussion about having towing companies or having adding towing services to the roadworthy renewal, and it brought a lot of discussions, a lot of opposition because it was being given to one particular company to be the ones doing it, and that was shelved. And since then till now, that law, that regulation, whatever it is, has not come up. Road safety cannot be left to the NRSA alone. Everybody needs to get involved. The Ghana Police needs to get involved. The DVLA needs to get involved. Transport unions need to get involved. Local authorities, road contracted, vehicle owners like yourself and I. Above all, everybody who uses a road, motorists, must all take responsibility. We must all take responsibility. And we need sustained public education. Road safety messages should not only get louder after a major crash. The whole of last week till now, there's a lot of, and everybody now remembers that there's road safety authority, blah, 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 would make all the noise. After a week, something else comes and it dies off. Another agenda comes or another issue comes up and everybody forgets until the next accident. It must be part of our everyday culture. Drivers must understand that arriving 10 minutes earlier is never worth risking a human life. Passengers also have a role to play. We must be bold enough to tell a driver to slow down when they are driving dangerously. Transport operators must ensure drivers are fit to drive and that vehicles are properly maintained. Government must continue investing in safer roads. That is proper road markings, I stress, road markings, street lighting, pedestrian facilities, speed control measures, and effective emergency response system. Now, if you use our roads at night, you will know that it's a danger trap. You can drive on a whole 5 kilometers of road and you don't see light. The only thing you see is your headlights. And you only negotiate a curve and realize that there's a car that is broken down. And if not for the fact that probably you are the only person on the road, perhaps your sudden braking will cause the one behind you to run into your back. So we need to pay careful attention to those things. And we cannot take road markings for granted. I still don't understand how come a car can break down on the highway and be there for a whole weekend and nothing happens. The police go past those cars, city officials or national officials go past that cars and nobody does anything. People repair their cars on the road with oil and gasoline dripping on the bitumen, forgetting that bitumen dissolves coal tar or tar. And we keep complaining about potholes on our road. The tragedy at Ofankor must not end with just the condolence messages and the investigations we do, and they'll come and tell us what caused it. We should understand that 11 lives have been lost. Their death should become a turning point. We must move from reacting to road crashes to preventing what caused those road crashes. Prevention is key because every road user has a right to return home safely. As I left the house this morning to come, my family expects me to come back home safely. The time for stronger enforcement, greater awareness, and decisive action is now. Our roads must become safer, and safe living must be an ultimate measure of success. I repeat, our roads must be a safe environment for us to use. This has been my reflection this morning. I'll be right back after this break.
Back and stay safe. The National Petroleum Authority is cautioning the public to desist from scooping or fetching fuel from overturned fuel tankers at accident scenes. Do not get closer to the scene in an attempt to take videos or pictures. Inhaling the petroleum product is detrimental to your health. Worst of all, petroleum products are volatile and highly flammable, and a small spark can trigger a catastrophic explosion, causing deaths and loss of property. Call the Ghana Fire Service or Ghana Police personnel to handle the scene, or reach the National Petroleum Authority's contact center on 0302 550 380. Your life is worth more than a gallon of fuel. This Save a Life campaign is from the National Petroleum Authority.
From the heart of Africa we stand, building dreams across the land. Every step we take aside, helping you rise, take taking you higher. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. BOA, we go there for you night and day. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Well, welcome back from the break. This is Current Agenda, your Saturday morning companion and your most authoritative news analysis program. This morning, we'll be discussing the issues that have been topical within the week. And my panel in studio will help me make meaning or tell you the stories behind the headlines. As usual, you see our social media handles and our WhatsApp numbers strolling down there. Please send your messages, contribute in the discussion on Facebook, on YouTube, via WhatsApp, and we'll do well to read your comments. If you have questions, also you can ask. So we would ask our panel members to help respond to them. So in studio with me this morning, I have seated immediately to my left, the former MP for Buem constituency, Honorable Daniel Kwesi. It's what Ashama.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ashama.
Ashama.
Not Ashima.
No Ashama. Okay, yours I comes before the A.
Yeah.
Ashama.
Correct.
Honorable, good morning.
Good morning, my
I
brother.
hope you're good.
By the grace of God.
How is life outside Parliament?
Oh, life outside Parliament is manageable, but the only thing I will advise is that the young ones who want to go to Parliament in a rush, they should take it easy. You must at least work. I have worked for 20 years before going to Parliament. And so I know what life is. I know how family building is before getting there.
Right.
But if you go there as a young guy, if you are fortunate and you get 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, you are good. But if you're not fortunate and you get 1 term, it's a disaster because right from there, no company is going to
You're
employ
unemployable. Nobody employs you. And if you don't have skill to do things on your own, that's it.
So you must be very, very solid. Even if not very, very, you must be solid before you go there.
Thank you.
Think about your children, think about your wife.
Great.
Yes.
Next to him is Austin Kwabna Braco Powers, a private legal practitioner. Powers, this advice is to you if you ever have intended to go to Parliament.
I mean, I take you from Honorable. But beyond that, I'm just shattered that we've lost these people to the road carnage, and I like your reflection. But the thing is that beyond the familiar factors, there's this creeping factor which is often overlooked. Our poor management of accident scene. Because if you look at the reports of eyewitnesses, it appears to point to, the report appeared to point to one factor, which started the whole carnage, that it was poorly managed. And that led to a tragic death. So we should be able to, begin to take, as you said, take road safety very seriously in this country, so that we can be able to safeguard.
I mean, in some jurisdictions, when there's an accident, the very moment the information gets there, that road is cut off,
Exactly.
and everybody's directed to use another lane
is it.
until it's. Anyway, there's another issue I'll mention then before we move on. But next to Powers also is Dr. Kweku Anane. Doctor, your last name is Jinde. Jinde, right. He's a lecturer at the Gimpa Law School and also a corporate governance expert. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. Right. Good.
I like your African print shirts.
Well, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a Pan-Africanist, so I think. First, let me say a very good morning to my people, both at Bamboy and then in Kintampo. And I want to congratulate the Bui Power Authority. They've made profit of $66 million. You know, in our part of the world, I mean, to put
that's a lot of money.
So when state-owned enterprises perform in our part of the world, it becomes news.
Yes.
In other jurisdictions, it's normal. So that is why I want to congratulate Bui Power Authority for making a net profit of $66.2 million.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's for 2025?
Just
Or half year?
Just this year, for 2025.
Oh, okay.
2025. They met last 2 weeks, and then these were the figures they told us. Okay. So, well done, Bui Power Authority. But I also have some bad news for Bui Power. You see, they've made a profit of 66 million. Very good. We commend them. But the people whose land they've taken to construct that project, they've not yet paid them.
Really?
We've been in court for 6 years.
I thought that verdict had already come.
No. We've been in court for 6 years. We were given a ruling by the Human Rights Court in Accra that they should pay us. And since that time, we got the ruling in about 4 or 5 years back. We've been following government after government. Pay us, they are not paying us.
I'm sure some of the people are dead now.
No, 5 of the chiefs have died, unfortunately. And the last the last step we took was to go back to the court to enforce the judgment. And then they also gave us 5A, that we could go and sell the property of Minister of Finance to defray our debts. Unfortunately, there was a change of government. So some of us advised the chief that, look, let's give the new government some time, some breathing space, so that they will settle, and then we see what can be done. But it's the same old story.
Right. Anyway,
they don't seem to be very interested.
So this is a call to the
Minister of Finance, the Attorney General,
and the Minister,
all people involved. Our chiefs are dying.
And now they've made profit.
They've made profit of $66 million.
Okay.
So they'll
Why
pay.
are they not paying?
They'll pay. They've heard you this morning. So.
No, this is the third time I'm saying it. It appears nobody's listening. It appears nobody's listening.
Right.
Do they also want us to come to Minister of Finance and start picketing?
No, please.
Is that
no,
what
please.
they want us?
No, please.
You see, some of the chiefs, those who advise that they should give them time because there's a change of government, they are not blaming us. We are not taking. Tomorrow I'm going home, and I think the messages I'm getting from home, the way the chiefs are angry with me,
anyway.
that I've misled them. So government, I think the president should be made aware of this.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the chief of Bole, president's own chief, his money is included.
Wow. Anyway, so next to Doc is lawyer Ishaq Ibrahim. He's a member of the NPP legal director and also a lecturer at the UPSA law faculty, right?
Yes, law school.
Law school, okay. So, lawyer Ishaq, good morning.
Good morning to
I hope
you.
you're doing well.
Yes, good morning to you and good morning to my colleagues here.
Right.
And good morning to the good people of Ghana. I think today is a special day for the MPP. We are going to pose to elect our regional executives.
Right.
For particularly the Northeast region is very important for us. I'm from the Northeast region. So I just like to urge everybody, let's do it peaceful. At the end of the day, we want very competent executives because the fight for 2028 is a very, very, very important one. We have an issue of people who have gone their way to government. They have said a lot of things. And the reality is, the real experience people are going through is really, really bad. So want people who can partner competently with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and come to 2028, we are able to take these incompetent people out of power.
You started the discussions already. He's looking in your face and talking.
It's been a long time state enterprises make profit, isn't it? Now they are making profit.
Yes. Okay, let's move.
It is an accounting profit they have made. It is an accounting profit. If
Anyway.
not there during your time.
pay him.
I said, no,
It is an accounting profit. Pay him.
now that the profit has come.
No pay.
Pay him.
Gentlemen, thank you. We'll also be joined later by lawyer Noah Adamtis. When he comes, we'll introduce him. He's a private legal practitioner. When he comes, also we'll introduce him to you. So we start with our discussions, the Berkut case. I term it the Berkut case. Doc, I'll start with you. Now, I've read different reports on this case. I've read people's press releases, some people's legal representation writing for them and all that. My basic question I would want to ask is, in all of this, what has Ghana lost? Why is this even an issue for Ghana? What have we lost as a people?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, we've lost our reputation. That's the first thing that we've lost. Internationally, it has come to the attention of the whole world that you can bribe your way to get a business contract in Ghana. That's the first thing we've lost in terms of reputation. And we've also lost in terms of the high electricity tariffs we pay. Because this bribe that this company is paying, it will consider it as a cost to the company. And you know, companies are not charitable organizations. They are there to make profit. So all this money is allegedly, all what he's paid, he will add it to his operating costs. And at the end, we, the ordinary Ghanaians, we are going to pay for this high electricity tariff that we see. So if you ask that, what have we lost? We've lost a lot. And apart from that, you know, it is a crime to receive bribe in Ghana, isn't it? Even we set up a whole body to fight corruption and corruption-related cases. That's the OSP. So we've lost a lot in terms of reputation, in terms of the high electricity tariff that we have to pay, because the company will transfer it to the end consumer. So we've lost a lot. And apart from that, you see, if government operate this way, institutions like parliament, if it comes out that it is true, these are just allegations. But those allegations have been proved in a US court, not in the Ghanaian context. So let's wait and see. But if you ask me, what have you lost? Now, a lot of people are going to lose confidence in parliament. Because if parliamentarians will take, if they are supposed to be the gatekeepers, because every international contract has to be ratified by the parliament, because we are a dualist state, okay? And because of these powers that we give to parliament, to oversee and then even manage and then assess the risk involved in terms of the contractual agreement, if they go to take 5,000 allegedly, to let it go, I think we are also going to, a lot of people are beginning to lose confidence in parliament, because they are supposed to be working and acting for and on our behalf. But if they are prepared to compromise, I think Ghana has lost a lot. We have lost a lot in terms of reputation, in terms of high electricity tariffs, in terms of the confidence we have in our members of parliament. Remember, we call them honorables. But if it comes out that they take $5,000 just to go and inspect, and you see, what has come out in the US, people must know that the law is very broad. The Foreign Corrupt Practices, which was passed in 1977, is very broad. It includes taking bribe, even if they pay for your transport, your air ticket, your entertainment, even if they give a scholarship to your ward or whatever, it's all captured under that law. So when we are dealing with some of this international, we have to be very careful about the way we conduct our businesses. So I think the ball is now in the court of the Ghanaian authorities. The US authorities have done part of the work for us. At least we have some leads. So we can build on that and then see if we can also bring people who are culpable to justice. So I think this is the way I think, but I think people should not politicize this issue, because it's about the reputation of Ghana. It is about...
But you know politicians will do it. I mean, by the time I get to the third person who speak on this panel or the fourth, you will see that politics will come in.
Yeah, I know politics will come in, but I think sometimes we have to move beyond and above the politics, because I know Ghana is bigger than MPP. Ghana is bigger than NDC. When it comes to national issues, we must be, let's draw back a little bit. Put the politics aside and think of the national interest. How is what I'm saying, how is it going to advance the national cause and promote the national interest? This is what we should be thinking now as Ghanaians, because after elections, I think we have a work to do. Because in other jurisdictions, I've lived in Germany for some time, immediately after elections, they talk of nation building. So they don't do any campaign until 2-3 months to the elections. Because after the elections, they think of building their country first. So let us also adopt that approach and see if what we are seeing now, we can find a way to also bring those who are who have been mentioned. Let's invite them. But I don't think the Attorney General should do the work. It should go to the OSP instead. Because somewhere along the line, the Office of the Attorney General was also mentioned there.
Yes.
Yes. And incidentally, the person who was the Deputy Attorney General is now the Attorney General. So there's a conflict of interest there. So I think to create that perception that we want justice to be done and done well, we should take the Attorney General out of it and then let the OSP do that work. It will send a signal that, well, there's not going to be any conflict of interest there. So let the OSP do the work. But I think from what I've seen from IOCO, that they are collaborating with the Attorney General, the IOCO has come in and then... but I think the IOCO, if they've had all this engagement with the US authorities, why didn't they start any prosecution or investigations? Why should they wait for the US court to make a determination before we start? I don't get it.
Right.
Or I think taking bribe and all the charges that were they mentioned in the indictment, I think they also apply in Ghana in terms of taking bribes, in terms of misuse of public office and all those things. There are also criminal offenses in Ghana, in our jurisprudence, right? So why do we have to wait till the US to make this pronouncement before we start, reacting? So I think that's what I would say for now. But I think we've lost a lot. I've just mentioned that. Right. But going forward, please, the politicians, don't let us play this thing with politics, because it's a very important national issue that must be discussed without political lenses or political leanings.
Thank you. Robert Powers, now, the AXA company is not a Ghanaian-owned business. It's not a US-owned business. From what we've read, it's a Turkish-owned business. The lawyer or the Berku person in question at the time was a staff of a bank outside Ghana. If a business wants to get a contract from a country, and he calls you for lunch or dinner to discuss the business, and at the end of the day, he convinces you to give them the business, and they come and they're actually delivering the business, why is it an issue?
Koyo, ordinarily it shouldn't be an issue. But looking at the circumstances, it may pose risk, not only to the integrity and the reputation of the country, but also beyond that, because it has other ramifications. But, Koyo, we must understand that this is a claim that has been certified by the US court. And we can't say for a fact that indeed monies were given to some officials over here. You will note that there are some individuals who claim to have ties or connection with people, some, high-flying individuals, when in the truth, maybe when in reality, they do not have any connection with them. It does happen. You remember number 10? Yeah. And in fact, number 12, you remember the famous analysis investigation, where Jan Techi is alleged to have said that, yes.
Some people were in his pocket.
You get it. So sometimes we must be able to situate the conversation. This is a claim that is yet to be tested. And as Doc, were articulated by the Ghanaian court. But like I said, the likelihood of people claiming association with individuals that they do not even in reality have any connection with them is high. But what does this whole thing tell us? It tells us that we are not being strict in our anti-corruption fight. Simplicity. And Doc was suggesting that the investigation should be given to the OSP. But Doc, it will surprise you to know that the OSP assisted the U.S. attorneys. The OSP assisted them. And the OSP, in its own report or statement, acknowledged that they helped in the trial of the gentleman.
So in effect, they have a better understanding and appreciation
of the issue than any other organization.
That is why, that is why I do not even support any call for the OSP to investigate this matter. Okay. Because it goes to the OSP. The OSP was seized with the facts. Why didn't they investigate?
That's the question.
Why didn't they investigate?
No. I didn't listen to Mati Hamidu.
Mati Hamidu claimed he started. The current OSP says there's no docket evidence in same. So who are you believing?
And Mati says that it was taken off their website.
So
exactly.
No one has spoken before I introduce you. So as I mentioned earlier, we have on as part of the panel Noah Adamte. He is a private legal practitioner. He was supposed to be introduced before he speaks, but he's speaking. So no, I'll continue saying what you are saying now. So when they hear your voice, they don't think that is the voice of God in our midst.
Commenting on what was going on in the Martin Hamidu's write-up, he actually alleges that it was on the website of the OSP, the case, as part of the ongoing cases. And when he left and the new OSP came, it was taken off. Right.
That's his allegation. In fact, that's his claim versus the claim of the current OSP. If you ask me, this is the current leadership, and whatever is coming from them is official. So whether it was investigated or he started, it has no basis. My position is that the OSP should not be the best institution to investigate this matter. If Yoko is doing it, it is okay. Yoko should cooperate with the office of the Attorney General to do that. But, Kojo, is the payment of monies to even members of parliament to secure a government contract new in this country? So that we behave like this is the first time we are having to deal with a situation like that. Is this the first time? Ghanaian-owned companies pay monies to government officials to secure contracts, sometimes even to ministry officials of various ministries. Why do we behave as if this is new in this country and that this is an extraordinary matter that requires the full-blown attention of the whole country?
Maybe it's the amount involved. $1 million plus. Maybe that's the reason.
That's amount that is alleged to have been paid.
Yes.
But as to whether or not the individuals actually receive the money is another conversation.
Yes, that I agree.
Already, K.T. Yamo, representing the former power minister, has said that his client says he didn't receive any money. And I'm telling you that there are claims or there are situations where people claim close association or even ties with individuals closer to power, that in reality, they do not have any association with them.
It's also important to mention that K.T. Yamo himself happened to be a member of that said committee at the time.
Exactly.
So,
do you get it? But, Kojo, I want us to distinguish between the claim which has been set up by the U.S. court, which is yet to be tested over here, and yet to be established as to whether or not monies were indeed given. For all you know, the Belco himself may have pocketed the money. He may have pocketed the money. But he will tell the U.S. court, my intention was to pay the money to these individuals. So let's not draw hasty conclusions and say that, let's not be ahead of the fact. Let's tarry. That is my caution. But, Kojo, if we want to situate the conversation, we should broaden the conversation. Why must individuals pay monies to secure government contracts? It does happen. Even local companies, they do. You remember the investigation by Manasseh Azuri, where the former PPA boss had set up a company. And he was auctioning off government contracts. to third parties through his own company. You remember?
Yes.
Okay? So, let's be mindful. And you remember the sale of Ghana Telecom?
Mm.
Do you remember?
The former seal of Ghana Telecom.
Exactly. When Kufuor was going to sell Ghana Telecom to Vodafone, you remember the claim by PC appeal for you?
That parliamentarians were given envelopes. In fact, even in the 2017 parliament, I think Okujeto made an allegation that there was some money that were given across.
Exactly.
And his own party even came to tell him that what he was saying, but the allegation was also made, yes.
So, let's broaden the conversation. You get it? So that if we want to have the full complement of the facts.
So, in simple fact, what you've heard now is nothing new.
No, but do I appear shocked? Does this shock me? Why should it shock any individual in this country? Why? And it's because we like to behave as if something is new when it's not, in reality, not new. We should begin to tackle the root cause or the causes of those issues. But who says it's normal? I'm trying to let you know. I started from the sale of the Ghana Telecom. I remember I was part of a group that picketed at Parliament opposing the sale of Ghana Telecom. Why? Because I felt and still feel that a strategic state asset should not be auctioned off. It's a conversation we must have. I'm not saying this is normal or this should be normalized. But you see, let's not take this as an isolated incident. Let's broaden the conversation. This is not new. What do we do to stamp out such practices? We start from the causes, and we have to broaden the conversation, bring everybody on board. PRC is alleged to have received monies. Parliament, Gridco. Look at the people involved.
The list is very tall.
Yes, even engineers had to be given money. Claim allegedly, engineers had to be allegedly be given money to release credible information. What are you talking about? And you want to narrow the conversation. That's why Doc is saying that we shouldn't, reduce this conversation into the usual partisanship, petty politics, petty partisan politics. Because when you do that, I've always said that when we reduce conversations into petty partisan politics, who loses? Ghanaians. Because when we do that, honest conversations will be lost to noise, partisan noise. So this is not new. And let's not behave that and I've said it. OSP it should not be the best person to handle this conversation. Because the current leadership, I've defended, my position on OSP. I defend OSP, particularly the architecture of the OSP. But sometimes they approach to certain things, I don't defend them.
Right.
So, Kojo, we need a full-blown investigation. And in that investigation, we must broaden the conversation. And my second point is that it is not conclusive that monies were indeed given to individuals in this country. That's his claim. And I've told you, number 12. People claim they even had the president in their own pocket. But so whether the president could fit their pocket is another conversation altogether.
The size of the pocket also.
Lawyer
Ishak, now, like Doc said, what is happening now is affecting the reputation, credibility of the state.
Yes.
What Powers is also saying that there are two sides to bribery: the giver and the taker.
Yeah.
The giver is has been found guilty and waiting sentencing.
Yeah.
The takers or the alleged takers are saying they never took anything.
Yeah.
So why is the opposition MPP making a big deal out of it when we know that if we continue to go in that tangent, the image of the country will be soiled?
Thank you very much. I've listened to both gentlemen. Whilst I found myself agreeing with Dr. here, I think I don't know how much to state about my disagreement with Powers. I disagree with Powers. We should not broaden the conversation. We can have separate conversation. so we can have a conversation centered on this particular specific case, because we don't want to be buried within the broader conversation. Then we can have separate conversation about corruption in general among our state institutions, particularly parliament and other areas, because this is a specific case. For me, to state that we have been hearing this case, it seems to normalize this particular case. The fact that it's been happening doesn't mean it's normal. Maybe you may be numbed. But if something is coming from the U.S. court, that is why I don't like this conversation, American Ghanaian or a dual citizen. You know, when you live abroad, they often say it to say that he's not part of us. In Britain, they have this particular thing they do. If there is success, they often say, oh, he's a British. But if there are some failures or theft somewhere, they say, oh, a Nigerian-born British, because they want to disassociate themselves from him. So that when you generally say a Ghanaian American, even I'm not comfortable with it. They might have reported it that way, but we shouldn't pick up that particular line.
So we should call him an American.
Well, he could just mention him with that. They would do that because they want to disassociate themselves with him. You see that, but he is one of us. For me, a Ghanaian is always a Ghanaian, even if he naturalized elsewhere. Home is home. Trust me. That's why I don't. I
think for us journalists, we make that point because without that, he could not have been tried under that law.
Not really. In America, if you're a resident, even if you're illegal in America, you deal with corruption.
But will you be treated under the Foreign Act? You might be treated under a different law.
No, let me explain this.
Okay.
You see, under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act,
you can either be a citizen, a dual citizen, or a company.
Yes.
Or even at the time of giving the bribe, if you were in the U.S. territory,
it
covers you.
That's why I say green card holders. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
They do that to disassociate themselves with him. In fact, finally, they might even just say a Ghanaian born something, without even mentioning the nationality. But what I'm saying is, like what Dr. said, it caused reputational damage to Ghana. Because the emphasis is that those countries are corrupt countries, and you are making U.S. lose money. I think the main emphasis, if you look at their prosecution, was about competition in the United States, not making United States companies competitive. I hear what he said. That's why I said the other time that even the word minister might not just mean the substantive minister at that time. It could even be a deputy minister or an agent of that minister. That area, Browers point to the past practices whereby money might not be given. For me, what I'll urge is that let's have an open mind. Yes, allow the investigations to take place. But I will be surprised that there will be convictions in America, and it will turn out that there is nothing in Ghana. Because bribery, if a bribery is given, somebody else might have received it. The fact that the gentleman might have taken the money without actually passing it on, I don't generally agree with that, because at the end of the day, a contract was signed. There were certain things that motivate a contract to be signed. Let the investigation look into it. Was it just purely that it was in the public interest for us to sign the contract for the benefits of Ghanaians, or something did influence? And if in fact bribe was given, as Dr. said, the final consumer suffered. And I believe the Republic of Ghana itself also suffers some aspect. Because if you look at when there was a change of government, people had raised issues about those contracts. I remember they said there was overcapacity issues. Why were there overcapacity issues? Could it be that people were motivated to sign unnecessary contracts that was not in the public interest? So whilst we deal with the individual, maybe the conversation can be broadened into that, investigation to look further. Quite apart from bribe, receiving bribe is a crime. Did it affect Ghana in a way that we have lost money, or the effect was passed to the final consumer? But to say that let's just broaden the conversation, no, let's have a separate conversation. We can do that. Yeah, it is not the first time. Ghana Parliament is not the first time that we have heard this. I remember some years ago, about 8 years ago, a lot of British parliamentarians were sent to prison for expensive scandal. So for them, usually they are allowed to apply for expenses for having 2 homes and some other expenses they incur in connection with Parliament. and people were supplying fake receipts, and we're making money. So yes, Ghana Parliament might not be the same, but if we treat it as the usual stuff, we may end up in burying it and say, okay, let's forget of this issue. Let's find a way to turn a new page. So I don't agree with that. With this AXU company, I mean, I read further in the BBC website, it is their usual practice across the whole of Africa. And as through Tanzania, Kenya, and other places, they have been engaging officials that way and motivate them and get contracts that usually they wouldn't be able to obtain such contracts. So for me, the US case is a head-on for us. But as to whether the OSP should handle the case or the Attorney General, I lean towards what the doctor said. My friend had a statement that in the absence of good, bad is better than worse. So if OSP is seen to be bad, I think Oyoko and the Attorney General handling it is worse. So in the absence of good, bad is better than worse, OSP should actually handle it. And if you look at the legislation, the statute that they were set up to deal with cases of this nature. Because the people who are alleged to have taken those bribes, some of them are more likely to be in government, or they've just left, but they still have connection to government. If we do that, especially in this our current atmosphere, allowing themselves to investigate themselves, the conflict of interest comes in. The conflict of interest comes in. At least I still see the OSP to be an outsider. Whether it has dropped out of their website, and therefore it can no longer be trusted, I doubt it. There's a way we can check whether Martin Lamisa Amidu, what he's saying is good, is right or wrong. Because this website, people who know it will be able to even see it in the archives, isn't it? I remember cases these days, tort law cases, the right to be forgotten. They might delete something, but the internet never forget. Do you understand that? There are crawlers you can introduce that can even bring back all the website that has been archives in a way or that. But that is not even important. The OSP, I believe, should handle this particular matter. And if this is not really investigated properly and prosecuted, the NDC claims that they are going, I know he said we shouldn't go into politics, but we'll still go into it. You see, when you look at Macha Amidu...
No, see, I told you by the time we get to the text.
No, when you look at Macha Amidu argument, he raised a question. Can the NDC be trusted if you say you are fighting corruption and you are entering nollie prosecute for your members who are alleged to have engaged in corruption practices, or an appeal has been made from the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court, and you have no appetite to pursue such a case because you are afraid of what the Supreme Court might say, and you are banning such cases, and you seem to be going after members of the opposition vigorously. Are you pursuing your political opponent, or are you really after ending corruption? It is a very important question that we need to raise as members of the opposition and as Ghanaians in general. So for me, the way you handle this case would add to the broader debate whether you are really after members of the opposition or you are genuinely fighting corruption. Right. As I said, my job here as a Ghanaian and as a member of the MPP is not to protect any member of the past government that has engaged in corruption. No. If any one of them have taken one city that belongs to the Republic of Ghana, let the current government retrieve it. Usually, we are talking about the way you go after them. So when I say it will be like he's here to protect his party members, no. The way and manner in which you do it, and the selective justice is part of what we are talking about. So the investigation, let the OSP investigate it. I don't agree with the current Attorney General. The OSP office was set up for the purposes of dealing with these particular cases. And if the question is whether the current OSP is up to the task, that could be another debate. He might go, or people who work under him can actually handle it.
Right. Thank you. Before I come to Honorable, I'll go to Noah. Normally, I bridge the gap, so the fire does not. Now, Noah, In all this, I've heard little said about the continuous stay of AXA in Ghana. From what Lawyer Ishak said, it seems to be their way of operations or integrating into a country. So with all this that has come, obviously, if Beako has been convicted for this, that means that money was received. The next angle is whether it was paid. That's for Ghana. But there's evidence to show that that money was received from a company to give to some people. And so what happens to AXA?
Yeah, so thank you very much. And let me say good morning to my young lawyers in Ghana. As someone who has followed this matter, I think since it came up, I think there are a number of issues that we need to touch on. One of them is the important question we're asking this morning. I think the information out there suggests that following 2015, going into 2016, 2017, AXA was still in Ghana and was still signing contracts even with the new government that came into power. Now, so I would expect that this whole conversation is not limited just to the initial contract in 2015 that led to 2016. We must do a thorough investigation of all contracts that the government of Ghana has with this company and whoever participated in engagement. I'm not here to say that conclusively the company paid bribes to the subsequent government. I can't say that for a fact. But if it is established, at least the case in the United States, that the agents of the company dealing with the government of Ghana allegedly paid money to some government officials, and there is evidence that money is actually left him, from what I'm reading online, even he is still owed by the Turkish company for some of the bribes that he paid because they have not refunded the money. Then
he pre-financed
the bribe. And that clearly tells you that there is at least some suggestion that we can look at subsequent contracts that the company would have had with the government of Ghana. So I believe strongly that we as a country, we have to sit down and maybe cross-party between the NDC and the NPP, form a reputable maybe committee or body, whether from Parliament, wherever it will come from, with people who are apolitical to look into this matter and then come out with all of these contracts that we have with this Turkish company and find those who were implicated or who be implicated culpable. Because like we have rightly said here, since I came in and I listened, the reputation of Ghana is one that we all agree here that will be damaged by this. And this damage is one that has been going on for a long time. And this a time that we have that can actually address this issue by ensuring that we make corruption very difficult for people who may even be enticed to go into this. Today, it was 1 million that is alleged to have been paid. We don't know what went on subsequently. We don't know what is still going on. But when we go into this matter, we're able to find specific individuals who participated in these schemes. Then we're able to deal with them. I think it will serve as a good deterrent to other people that may be thinking of engaging in an enterprise like this. For me, I am not very concerned whether it is the OSP or it is the Attorney General that will investigate this matter. I am not very concerned about that. What I am really concerned about is the fact that we seem to forget that in the report of the US, when you go to the US State Department, they mentioned that it was not just the OSP that was consulted. The FBI dealt with the Attorney General and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Right? When you look at our laws, the OSP as an entity is not very known to foreign countries. Right? Our extradition processes, our mutual legal license processes are routed through the Attorney General. And so for the FBI to deal with the OSP, they would have definitely dealt with the Attorney General. One of the other things we also need to have in mind is that the Attorney General's office has a number of prosecutors who have stayed with the office beyond the administration of any Attorney General. I know people in the AG's office who were there during Madame Honorable Gloria Kufuor's time. Some of them were even there during Honorable Maretta Duopon's time, stayed during Gloria Kufuor's time. say during Godfrey Dami's time and are still there. These are people, civil servants who have done their work very well over the years. Maybe we are thinking because the head of the administration now is a politician, then it is likely that there may be some conflict of interest. But I don't want to rely on that so much. If the Office of the Attorney General can support this investigation, if the OSP can support this investigation, our laws do not prevent a collaboration between the OSP and the Attorney General. Both officers have shown a willingness to investigate this issue. Let's allow them to collaborate, to draw the lines on where they want to focus their investigation. What we need as a country is for our institutions to work. We have not yet rendered the AG defunct. We should not use issues like this to create the impression that the Attorney General can never investigate such issues. We're in this country when during the NDC's time, I think during Mohammed's first time in office, they investigated someone who was in power with them, who was in government, and he was convicted. Right? It shows that whatever we think of the Office of the Attorney General, it can actually do some independent work. We should leverage what we have, whether the OSP or the Attorney General, and address this particular issue. And then I'll end with saying something about the money speed. I think we have also touched on it here. When you read closely what the Secretary of State's website, the US Gov, puts out, we should not be in a hurry to attack people whose names have not been mentioned, but we have been able to piece information together to suggest they took money. When you look at what was written on their website, they were very careful with their choice of words. They said that with the 1 million, there were discussions to make payments. They never said that amount of money was paid. And you see, you can compare that to other statements about payments. When monies were actually paid, they said that payments were actually made to persons whose names were not mentioned. When people were sent to Turkey to go and look at the project, it was mentioned clearly that they were paid per diem $5,000 each. When it got to the 1 million, it was mentioned that discussions were paid to make that payment. And so we cannot then say that Honorable Kwabena Donkor took 1 million Ghana cedis and start tormenting him with that. Let's investigation go on in this country and let's come out clearly if he took that money. For now, we cannot be certain. And so I'll say we should hasten slowly, because when someone's image is tarnished through this particular process, it may be impossible for the person to regain his reputation again. So that is what
a follow-up on what you just said. Now, we've gotten information from the OSP itself, praising itself for contributing to this conviction. In fact, it says that if we don't believe, we should check the statement from... Yes, because they mentioned that with their support. So what has this support, because if you have been supporting and you have all this information actually, and I think it's been asked here, at your disposal, all these years until this issue came up, we had never heard, with all the reports that OSP has been given and giving us their update on quarterly basis, nowhere that they have such a case at this doorstep. Even if what Matamido has said that it was there and was taken off, blah, blah, blah. At least if somebody is consulting you, has given you indication that there's a possibility that Ghanaian officials receive bribe, there should have been some kind of inquiry.
Yeah. So I didn't want to go into that to create the impression that I don't want the OSP around this case. When you read what Martin Amidu said, it is clear that he said during his time he was conducting investigation into it. It was listed as some of the cases that the OSP was investigating. There was a report actually prepared on the case. So if you read Martin Amidu's latest writing, he actually mentions that report should be brought out, should be published for Ghanaians to see. Now, I'll find it very surprising that when the occupier of the head of that office left office, that's the SP, at Martin Amidu left office, then the report vanished and we cannot find it anywhere. I am very certain that currently the report will still be within the architecture of the OSP. So the OSP should be able to bring that information out, should be able to publish that report if it has it. It should come out to respond to some of the statements that Martin Amidu has made. See, a lot of time when Martin Amidu makes these statements, we only think of it that he's attacking the government. But in this situation, when you read closely, Martin is actually also targeting the Office of the Special Prosecutor itself. Because if you are an independent prosecutor and you have information about a matter, you supported the US in investigating it. And all that you can say about your work within that work is simply that we go to their website and see. What about the investigation you carried on before the current SP even took office? So that information should also be put out for Ghanaians to see. Circumstances surrounding how the case left its website must also be probed, so we know whether there were some invisible hands behind closed doors that got this off the website or got the report shelved. We need to know all of this. So I would believe that in the coming days, Ghana should also direct some of the questions to the Office of the Special Prosecutor and ask, where is the report that was prepared? Why did the case leave your website? As even the OSP has closed its investigation on that case, we need to also find reason to ask such questions of the OSP.
Thank you.
I think the question should be, was there any investigation started by Martin Amidu? And if yes, are there any reports indicating same? Because that is Martin Amidu's claim. We are yet to hear from the OSP, the current OSP leadership, as to whether or not in reality there was anything like that. So I'm more inclined to be in the middle. So if we can direct, and I agree with Noah that we can direct questions at the current OSP leadership. That this is what Martin Amidu is claiming.
So what is your position?
So what's your position on that? So that we can get the full complement of the facts.
Honorable, making mention of Martin Amidu. Now he's in one of his epistles. He's made.
What's the number of the business?
Now he's made a suggestion, and I'm asking this because you have been in Parliament before. He's made a suggestion that he thinks the OSP should be given an opportunity, or it should now be enshrined in our constitution to make the OSP responsible for doing a corruption risk assessment of projects, even before it goes to Parliament for ratification. As a former parliamentarian, what would be your take? I know you've taken a lot of notes to respond to a lot of the issues, but after you do that, if you can respond to my question, or you respond to my question first and do this one, whichever approach you would want to adopt.
Thank you very much, and I say good morning to our viewers, and especially so my colleague workers of the Complementary Education Agency. This is your Executive Director speaking, and I have good news for you. All the workers of CEA watching me right now, I have a very big good news for you next week. And to all my colleagues, thank you very much for how you've expressed your views. And I think that is democracy. But what Martin Amidu says, my only worry is that he has not been sacked, but he resigned himself. Having this very vital information on your table, you leave them and you resign. Why? Now you are writing episodes for us to be following. Why did you resign? If Nanado were to sack him, I would say Nanado has sacked him. Is that not it? Nanado didn't sack him. You wrote episodes and resigned. Meanwhile, you have this vital chasing corruption. That is his mantra, that he cannot work with people who are corrupt. If you watch his video the day he was being vetted in Parliament, he cannot work with people who are corrupt. And he didn't trust the people who are corrupt. So why did you resign? And today you are giving us another homework to go and be doing. You get to that. Now, give us your handing over note. In which number? You see, when you are leaving office, you have to give the handing over note. Don't just tell us the thing has vanished. Not at all. You should have that. Not only on the website. You should have that.
Obviously, even if there's something like that, you should even have a copy.
Yes. And then you bring it out. You see, I respected him. Oh no, I respect him up to today. But he's always giving us the job that gives us no results. Writing episodes, saying this, saying that. Now, how can you do something without the approval of Parliament in this country? Even the act for establishing the OSP was approved in Parliament before I was in Parliament that time. So why would you suggest that? So everybody should be acting. And there is no way. That day in Parliament, the MPP tried to make Special Prosecutor independent. Do you get me right?
They refused. Even the Attorney General was there. He said, no, you must be under Attorney General. So whatever you do, that is why even the Supreme Court said that if the case is going on, Attorney General have the right to say stop or continue or change it. Because we have one Attorney General in this country. So you should not suggest this to us. Do you get me? You should not suggest this to us. Let the process move on. And having said that, let me come to all that you are saying. I agree. I am always worried about we as Ghanaians because of political chauvinism. That whatever America says, then we are chasing it. We set tables, we are talking. Fine, it is good. It is good. But there is no money that comes from America to this country that you don't pay interest if it is a loan. Is that not it? This money we are talking about, 1 million. I don't support corruption. If corruption is stamped out in this country, that whatever you work for, you get it. I agree. I would not like to say that, oh, this money is no money, let's leave the case. No. But that is the reason why the Attorney General of the state says that I have taken charge of this case. Wait for me. I'll come out with what? More information as to how we should move. Now, when you go to America, we have lobbyists. They are the same as bribery people. Then when you go to their Senate, we have lobbyists there. Before you can get deals, we have lobbyists there. So why are we always interested in taking the bad name, bribe? The same thing they do in their Senate over there. You have to see somebody before you can get something. Even to see a very powerful person, you have to see the lobbyists. Why are we always worrying ourselves? We have a nation to govern and all hands must be on deck. I agree with my colleagues, the MPP, oh, we don't agree with this person, we don't believe in Attorney General, so who do you believe in? Who do you believe in? That is the judiciary and, what do you call it, you lawyers, the Attorney General. Is that the judiciary, the head of the judiciary? Tell me. That's the leader of the bar. And he has come out to speak. So I'll plead with our brothers and sisters to hasten slowly. To hasten slowly. Look, were we not in this country that we were told in our own cities, 52.5 billion Ghana cedis have been transferred into unknown source. When you factor that even by 11 cities, it's $4.7 billion. This country, not America. Are we not in this country?
More than the 1 million we are talking about.
We are talking in the realms of billions. That money we have not even seen it. But the MPP people will not help us to get that money. They are interested in 1 million. My brother, if they put 1 billion and $1 million here, which one will you pick?
I'll take both. I want 1.1. If I can take both.
No, you are entitled to one. Where you are entitled to one, which one will you pick?
I'll pick the 1 billion.
And that is what, even 4.7 is lost in this country. We have not seen it. And the very people who should give us answers, they are talking today of 1 million. The very people. So it's so surprising. We shouldn't do politics like that. This country has laws. Yes, Special Prosecutor Office has been established. The YOCO has been established. We have the CID, is that not it? And then we have what? BNI. They are all there. Let's respect these institutions. You see, there are some technicalities here. We call our trousers in Ghana, is that not it? Yeah. When you go to America, they call it pants. Yeah. Do you get it right? So we are a sovereign state. And if we have a problem like this, like I agree with all my colleagues, except maybe, we should all come to the...
Except who? I said maybe. I don't have a panel member called maybe. That's what I want to know.
Subject to a particular comment.
Except maybe a particular comment. I agree that we have to sit down on a round table, find solution to problem, this corruption problem. Now, Katie Hammond is lawyer to that minister then. And Katie Hammond is MPP. That lawyer then, that minister then is NDC. And the issue passed through Parliament. What are we talking about here? Parliament, I was in Parliament. You cannot tell me that if you take me, those who were taken to Turkey, but they say they take 5,000, and you think they will not give them that money. That money should be given, even if it is small. It is small. I am telling you, when I send my LI to Parliament as an agency for it to be worked on, you have to take the MPs out of the jurisdiction. You take them away. Even when you are here, when you are traveling to some, they give you traveling allowance, true or false. So this is what is happening. So we should not burst ourselves with things that are happening. We should rather go and look at the laws. If there are some areas that will make amend, we make amend. We strengthen it. I was working with Indians before, and when we are working like this and they realize that there are leakages somewhere, they don't tell anybody. They go back to the room, and then before you realize, they come with new directives. They come with new directives. They don't shout. They don't say anything. Then they block the holes. Then, especially we, the marketers, who can give credit. You get right? They say this time don't give credit to any customer. Period. And so the accountant and those who are preparing invoice make sure no credit. So they know that maybe this crediting is causing financial loss to the organization. So to me, when we have issue like that on the table, let's sit down. Like my brother said, we should not be bastardizing people that they have done this until we come to the final conclusion. Because all that we are doing, me as I'm sitting here, I am in court. I've been, shall I say, blackmailed before. The people took me to court. I also took them to Accra High Court. So for 9 years, I'm in court. Do you get me right? And if you're not careful, sometimes the witness statement is what the judges deal with. You are a lawyer. Am I like the witness statement? So when you get to court, it tends to technicalities. You may forget a very vital point that you should put on the witness statement. And in course of it, if the judge did not agree for you to actually bring it as a new exhibit, you will lose the case in court. So let us hasten slowly. This is our brother. Something has happened. Americans have investigated. They came out with their what? How do you call it? Is it verdict? Verdict. You get me right? Now, Attorney General of Ghana too says, okay, that you have mentioned this and this and that, I am also I'm also going to do what? Work on it. So we must allow the law to take its course. That is nation building. But when you say, I don't trust this, I don't trust that, I don't trust Attorney General, I am asking the MP people, who do you people trust? Who do you people trust?
God.
And have you seen God before? Where we catch CD, God is not there. We feel it by air, so we say in spirit. But you don't see him physical. Let us govern this country in a way that our children will come and enjoy a better Ghana.
Right.
Like my lawyer Doc has said, that institutions are making profit. That is good news to the ear. So what can we do again for more institutions, state institutions, to be making profit for your money to be paid? For that one, I'll take it up.
Right.
They have to pay. Because if they make 16, is it 16 million?
No, 66
million. 66 million. Maybe by changing $6 million, you can pay them off.
Right.
But let me issue this caveat. Issues of that nature, maybe the ownership of that land too is a problem.
No, my brother.
No.
Okay, so don't worry. This one is not the. I mean.
No. I say yes. I am not. Not particularly on this. So we should also give that time. You see that my minister, Honorable Haruna, he says that those teachers that are posted to the rural areas, there will be some 20% for them. You could hear that those who are in the rural area now, they are complaining, the money has not yet come. Do you know what my minister told me? He said, yes, we are gathering data because there are some people who were posted to the village. They didn't go, they get another transfer to the city.
But so, to take the money.
So if you take that names raw like that, you'll be paying somebody who is in Accra.
Double.
Meanwhile, they have given him posting to the village. So we have to gather those data. Who are the people who have been posted to my village and moved back to Accra or Ho, but they want to take the village rural people's money
Then you take those names off.
Right.
It takes time. So I'm pleading with the MPP. If there is anything you should worry about, is the 52.5 billion that has been transferred into unknown source, and when you convert it by 11 cedis, it's $4.7 billion.
Right. Thank you. Noah, I'll ask you this in there. We probably will move.
Don't shake your head.
We can't move on with this allegation.
Is it the fact or I am lying?
Okay. So Noah, back
That
to
is what we should look
back
at.
to the suggestion by Martin Amidu, the creation of giving the OSP that power. I thought that is what the new Value for Money Office Act is supposed to do now. So should we refer him to it that there's an act now? Because that act now says that that body is supposed to make sure that whatever contracts are coming, there's no inflation, the public expenditure is being taken care of, there are mandatory certifications and all that they're supposed to get from them before it even goes to Parliament. So technically what he's suggesting is currently in play.
So it is, but I will still think what Martin Amidu is suggesting is some progressive step that not just maybe the OSP, a lot of these institutions we have that look into how monies move around and whether we are getting value for our money should actually take on board. You see, when we look at the Ejapa deal, for instance, one of the things Honorable Martin Amidu did was come out with the corruption risk assessment and lay it out there that these are the holes in the Ejapa deal. These are the risks that attach to the deal, and these are the risks that the country itself is likely to face, right? With the new act, we are likely to get an office that will investigate all of these and may be able to work closely with the OSP to ensure that we do further investigations even before Parliament decides to ratify that particular deal. So I think it is good that we bring it to the attention of Ghanaians that the new act is establishing this office and is mandated to do A, B, and C, which is good for our fight against corruption. But I don't think that should mean the existing officers should go to sleep and leave it to that office alone, right? There should be that collaboration to ensure that we actually, before these contracts get to Parliament, we actually know that what Parliament is actually passing, we are going to get the value for the contracts that is coming out.
Can we also consider maybe having these audit firms in the country have that responsibility? So before any contract even goes to Parliament, it should be certified by an audit firm where they will do all this risk assessment, and now we put that liability on them. If later something like this comes up, we can now go back and hold that audit firm responsible for doing a shoddy work, and the country can surcharge them for something. Can that also be considered?
I think we can do that, but I would wish and I would hope that the Auditor General and his office will be strengthened to do some of these things. I usually find it difficult when some of these audits are sent to private institutions when they can be done by the Auditor General. Well, there are certain instances we may work with the private auditing firms. We can't run away from that. But on a matter like this, when there is going to be a front-end inquiry into these matters before they get even to Parliament, I would suggest that the Auditor General, which is also a body that is, by the work they do, implicitly or even explicitly, they are an anti-corruption agency, right? So the Auditor General should be able to work with these institutions available, the Value for Money Office, the EOCO, the Attorney General, to ensure that the reports that all of these institutions present on whatever is going to Parliament is one that will be sound to Ghanaians. Because, for instance, the Auditor General may look into it and say that, you know what, I think there are holes in here that we need to address. If one of the other offices, let's say we don't trust the Attorney General's office, the AG's office said that, no, it is good, it is robust, let us go to Parliament. Ghanaians will be able to read and understand that, no. We will trust the Auditor General, because the Auditor General at least not a politician. So we need to empower and then we need to strengthen these institutions of state and ensure that they are able to deliver on their money before we start giving it out to private entities.
Doc, so where we are now, in what direction should the investigation, if any, take?
See, apart from looking, you see, you don't just investigate for investigating sake. You investigate to make sure people, to make sure that people who are culpable are brought to book. And then after that, after the investigation, you also have to find out how you can prevent future occurrences. That's the most important thing. This one, it has already happened. So let's look at those who were involved. These are allegations anyway. These are allegations which are yet to be proven in the Ghanaian court. And my friends will tell you that millions of allegations do not constitute one shred of evidence. They remain allegations so far. So to me, let the OSP investigate and, if possible, prosecute. And then after the investigation, they will come out with certain recommendations which we can use as guide so that we can prevent or block the loopholes so that we don't see some of these things again. Yes, corruption has been with us since the time of Abraham. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that because it doesn't mean that it has been with us, it is a good thing. No. It is costing us a lot. Yeah. And I was reading a report somewhere that corruption in Africa takes about 25% of our GDP. 25%, that's the minimum. The entire GDP of Africa, corruption alone takes 25% of our GDP. So it's a serious issue. So if we are really determined in fighting corruption, we should be more preemptive than allowing it to happen and then we start crying. No, this fire service approach to issues, I mean, this is what we've been doing as a country. We wait for a fire to occur, then we start calling the fire service, and sometimes when they come without water in their fire tender. So let's be more preemptive in what we do. And then apart from that, these anti-corruption institutions, we need to strengthen them. We need to strengthen them. And apart from that, one important thing we can also look at is, you see, corruption can thrive because people glorify people who engage in corrupt practices and enrich themselves. And that was why Kwame Nkrumah said, one of the important tools you can use to fight corruption is to build a strong public opinion against it. So we need to start somewhere, educate ourselves that, look, you cannot cheat your way to prosperity, or you cannot cheat your way to authority. So people must begin to realize that it doesn't pay to engage in some of these corrupt practices, because at the end of the day, if you are found out, look at the embarrassment, the shame it brings to you, your family, your immediate friends, your colleagues. So we have a whole lot of work to do, but it's a long journey.
Right.
It's a very long journey. Right. So let's investigate. If someone is found culpable, we prosecute. And then after that, if we find any loopholes, how do we prevent it? And I'm also aware that even in Ghana Parliament, some of my friends are CEOs say, that dog, if you don't give something, your budget will not be approved in Parliament as a state-owned, those who depend on government subvention. They tell me that, look, we have to look for money, because if we don't give Parliament money, they will not approve our budget. These are the realities we face.
Your 66 million.
As a former MP on that, it is not like every MP that will be asking one ministry to give money.
No, it's a committee.
The committee.
Yeah, that's what he says.
My brother, you must understand the work of the committee. The work of the committee, sometimes working late in the night.
But Honorable, who is supposed to pay?
No, but that's why you are
supposed to pay them.
Nobody asks you to bring money, but you are all the ministries and agencies that their budget must pass through them. This one wants his first. Another one to want, I should be first, I should be first. So that is where the lobbying comes in. Nobody will tell you bring the money. And you look at the volume of your work. And if I say that we don't take allowance if we're in Parliament, I am a liar. We take. And you must take, because the work that we are going to do right now, if they should go into this matter of Bekum very critically, this and the law want to work, the committee must be involved. Is that not it? Yeah. And committees are not one-party committee. It's a bipartisan committee. Yes. So it catches on the MPP and the NDC and independent, those who are the members of finance committee. So that is why we are saying that we should tread cautiously. MPs or committee chairman will not tell you, bring me money before I work.
But you yourself knows that immediately budget is read, you must send your budget and allocations to the committee responsible to work on it. And how do you get them? They are still to be in parliament, on the floor of the house. You are calling them. They have to move here. They have to go to Koforidua. They have to go to Ho. They have to go. Ghanaians must understand this. Whilst I was not there, I thought they were just taking the money anyhow. But if you see the way this VA that is moving, sometimes you be in it and you are sweating. You have to attend to this, you have to attend to that. So the ministers themselves, you are bound. If my airline that I am, they are going to approve now, it has matured. It has been there. The act was passed in the year 2020. Until today, the airline has not been passed. Do you get me right? So you must force for that airline to be passed. And as I am going to pass it, it is a good news that I'm working in my office. And that job must be done. And somebody must do it. And that person who is to do that job must eat.
Honorable, please let me do the moderation.
I reclaim my time. But all what you are saying, we understand. But I'm a Catholic anyway. A very proud one.
I'm a Catholic.
So if I don't ask for the money and you bring it, my Catholic teaching and my own conscience tells me that I'm doing my work.
But that's your Catholic teaching. Somebody else has a different teaching.
Well, if it is to influence, if it is a way of influencing my work.
But you see,
as a global nature with that religion sect that you belong to. Yes,
bribing and appreciation.
Yes, but let me finish the work
before and after the act.
Look. If I finish the work,
I would even disagree with appreciation.
No,
it's fair. It's fair. It's fair to appreciate.
So, gentlemen, let's have our viewers and our listeners are struggling
to appreciate. It's coming from a state agency.
How can you prove that it's coming from a state agency?
Why would a CEO?
No, he didn't say that.
Why would a CEO?
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
But why would a CEO of an institution take private money to go and appreciate Parliament?
But let me ttell you, you see, I always like.
It's an issue we need to address.
I always like to tell the public what exists in the office when you are appointed. There is a budgetary allocation to run your administration. So what do you do with that money? If you want somebody, I want somebody to do a job for me. That budgetary allocation that is made, I can take somebody to. If I'm to take my fuel, I'm to take an allowance. Do you get it right? And I want my job to be done because I need to be marked. And I didn't steal that money. That allocation has been made by the government, Ministry of Finance. What will I do to get my job done?
But I think for me,
that's not what he's saying. They said no.
The difficult question here
is creating an abstract situation.
Is this what is happening?
What is abstract?
Right, it's what's happening.
He's creating an abstract situation. He's not saying that
it's not the right thing to do. In a very good environment, Parliament should be able to work, whether it is overnight. Parliament should be able to work by prioritizing the various budgets that will come before them, without anybody influencing them through the giving of money. So we must find a way to address that issue, right? Even though it is going on now, we must find a way to address it. We can't say because it is happening and it's a way that these various agencies get their budget prioritized, then it's a good thing. Because then you create an incentive of Parliament also
appreciation that
go
you are
this
saying
way.
that it should not happen. I agree with you. What can stop this? I am saying here today that members of Parliament, the reason why even they see money flying in the sky, they would like to jump and catch it.
Wow.
Is the problems that they have. So let the government pay them well.
Then I agree.
The government should pay.
How much are they paying them?
I don't know, but as I'm sitting down here, every parliamentarian should be given even 100,000 Ghana cedis a month.
Why?
Even that they'll be fighting.
Wow.
Yes,
Why?
because look.
What about the other sectors?
Wait. No, let me tell you, I'm coming from that place. And that is why if you tell me to go to Parliament today, I will not go again.
Okay.
The responsibilities there, as a member of Parliament, remember, this person, that's why when you insult an MP, you are insulting the whole constituent who, by law, went out to vote for that person to represent them. So the person is not there by his personal capacity. He is a representative of the whole constituency.
Right.
Do you get that? Now, somebody died. You must buy coffee. Somebody is sick. Somebody has given them. I know. The one has taken. So they should be giving them 100. No, wait. Let me cut it.
I know where you are going.
When they are paid 100 million. All that, 100,000, all that we are saying, then we strengthen the institution. Even the document that will go to parliament, even the minister should not go. Do you get me right? The errand boy or the post people should just go and take it and give it to the committee chairman. Work on it, send, because you are being well catered for.
Thank you. Ishak, I'll give you the last thing so I go for a quick break. But I see Honorable.
Yes.
You are not at my table.
I know.
Let him have the stake.
No.
You see, everything you said, we hear. And it's one of the reasons why I personally believe that we are institutionalizing corruption in this country. Because we as a people, like you're saying, when you are going for your elections, even at your primaries, if you are not even a strong or a safe seat, your primaries, the last primaries MPP did, I think, in 2023, is it? We heard, even recently, the NDC, when they were doing the one that Baba Jamal, we heard the things that they are sharing. All these things that have been shared, what it means if he comes to parliament, that money that has been lost, he needs to make it back.
Even you can't get it.
No, he needs to make it back. And then now make the next one for the next election.
Because you can't get it because MP don't have shall I say, account that he
Common
signed.
fund.
A common fund. It is the district executive.
No, I mean, that's what you mean MPs don't have.
They are now paying into their personal account.
So all that they are doing,
The
you
common
cannot
fund,
get
yeah,
it. Do you know
somebody
how you
went
are going to
to
pay for it?
Just
You have to
to
take loans
inject
from the
them
bank.
from doing it.
You have to use your ex-gratia to pay. Myself, I use my ex-gratia, do you get it right? To a loan on the ex-gratia to campaign, and I lost. Do you get it right? So these are the peculiar situation that we should look at in the life of a member
But
of
these are your
parliament.
personal decisions. you have made.
Isaac, let's hear you. Then
Yes.
we can take care.
I think I'm very saddened having listened to the minister, especially the first aspect he has spoken to.
Honorable,
He said-
Minister.
I know there's a minister I don't know.
Okay, the honorable.
But that's why I wanted to
Okay,
be
I'm
sure.
executive director.
Okay.
The first
So you
aspect
are
he
talking
said,
about me.
he said we shouldn't take, the US is not actually giving out directives. We just heard about the case and we think it is right for us to also prosecute people in Ghana or at least investigate. But he said that the US people are even hypocrites. They call it lobbying. And then they want start to call it bribe. And then, moreover, he tried to equate it with past issues. And you seem to have normalized
Past
that.
issues of what?
No, you said there was, I'm not even privy to that information. You said there was 5 point something.
52 point.
Yes.
5 billion Ghana cedis.
It doesn't
Okaishi Commercial
normalize
Bank.
it. We can do all that
I am not.
specific
I issue a
investigations.
caveat that I did not
Yes.
agree with corruption.
Okay.
So don't tell me that
No,
I
but
was
if you say
normalizing it.
that they call
I
it
was
lobby,
asking you people to look at the 52.5 billion
Yes.
that has been transferred
This
into
is
an
not a
non-sub-
child.
Wait,
Let's
at
deal with-
Okaishi Commercial.
Yes.
Don't say this is not. It is also part of corruption.
No, when you do that, you are going to dilute the issue. Let's deal with
That is
each
why we are still looking for the
specifically.
person who told us that the money has been transferred into a non-sub.
Let's
So we
deal
are not
with this.
diluting
No,
it.
this topic is about this specific issue.
And
when
I
you
agree.
do that,
What
you're
did I
going to. It's an attempt to kill the current debate we're having. Let's deal with that issue specifically and deal with this issue specifically. Yes, I agree with you that there's lobbying system in the United States, but there seems to be a problem. If you look at the current issue revolving Israel, there's a campaign against that body that usually lobby members of parliament. It's not that the United States people doesn't see it to be a problem. They see it to be a problem and they are dealing with it. And if you see it, they also have laws that prevent them from taking money from foreign officers. In fact, I told you an issue some time ago when Tony Blair visited the United Arab Emirates. He accepted a gift from them, and the wife got a valuer to value $49.99, which it fell below the threshold of £50. She kept it. It led to a diplomatic war between them. Because if you take something more than £50, it can influence you, and that you should hand it over to the state and make a declaration. Are you saying that because it is normal in the United States our personnel here or our members of parliament dealing with a foreign entity should accept whatever they want to give you, because some people call it lobbying and we shouldn't call ours bribe. And not even that. Look at the nature of contract that we sign. Almost whenever a government leaves power, another government comes in, we have an issue of judgment debt. Because sometimes we find some of these contracts to be so unacceptable that it's as if our government official was on the other side. Well, during the negotiation, it was like they were not negotiating on behalf of the good people of Ghana. Some of these things lead to this particular problem. And for what is really happening in Parliament, it is a serious anomaly. For you to say they should even increase their salary to 100,000, if you compare it to other sectors of the economy, so are you truly saying that they'll pay themselves 100,000 when a lecturer is probably earning something like 9,000, some are earning 7,000? Are you saying that the office of the parliament and most of these evils you are talking about, you brought it upon yourself? You go and tell the people that as a member of parliament, I will give you this, I will give you this, or I'll give you this. Or your colleague is performing naming ceremony to people, helping people to get married. And you went there to tell the lecturer that when I take over power, I'll even do more than the other person. And then when you are finally giving power, you're asked to do naming ceremony, you're asking parliament to pay you more for you to offset it.
Powers?
These are your individual decisions.
Powers, please do 2 minutes so I can take a break. I mean, now people are even marrying for people. Single MPs are marrying for people who maybe are single. They can't find a wife.
But they are married.
Yes.
The point must be made that it is not late for us to take a decisive step to stamp out corruption in the society. And I am happy. This conversation is not starting today. It's been a running conversation. But we've not taken the decisive step, because this conversation from 1992, we'll be talking about corruption up to today, over 30 years plus.
You know the interesting thing? Over the weekend, I was clearing one of my rooms and I saw my primary 3 exercise book. And one of the questions asked there was, we should list and explain 5 ways corruption can be kicked out.
Can you imagine?
That was when I was in primary 3.
Can you imagine? You get it?
I've gone through lower primary, upper primary, secondary school, university, masters, worked for years, and I'm here. And still, that 5 ways. The 5 ways I mentioned, I'm sorry you mentioned right now, it's the same 5 ways.
No, so this has been a running conversation, but there must be an end to this conversation. There must be an end to this conversation. I don't think both the political divide, the New Patriotic Party and the governing National Democratic Congress are comfortable with this conversation. They are not.
Are we sure they are not?
Yeah. No, because you see, you know why they are not? Anytime it crops up during their reign, they feel uncomfortable. The opposition may be happy, but the government in power or the party in power may not be happy, because
maybe the discussion of it is not making them that.
That's what I'm saying.
Not the fact.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. They will be uncomfortable. You think the government will be happy to have this conversation, particularly this Berko scandal, this Berko-AXA scandal, discussed for almost like a month? Think this government will be happy? Or think the opposition National New Patriotic Party, if they were in government, they will be happy with this conversation? They will not. So the discomfort should push them to take decisive steps so that we can stamp out this thing. Right. And the thing is that we must remove the hand of the president on most of the appointments, most of the agencies. Let's make them independent.
For me, I think that is very key.
Let's make them independent. Let's amend the constitution to take off the hand of the president on some of the key appointments.
Right.
So that they can be independent to do their work.
So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll also talk about another thing that is tarnishing the image of Ghana. Our, what's the name? Embassy in the United States is also affecting our reputation. Taking money that is not supposed to take, allegedly. The Auditor General has come out with a report. We'll look into it. And then if time permits also, we'll look at some other issues. We'll be right back after this break.
From the heart of Africa we stand, building dreams across the land. Every step we dey your side, helping you rise, taking you higher.
Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. BOA, we go there for you night and day. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Stay back and stay safe. The National Petroleum Authority is cautioning the public to desist from scooping or fetching fuel from overturned fuel tankers at accident scenes. Do not get closer to the scene in an attempt to take videos or pictures. Inhaling the petroleum product is detrimental to your health. Worst of all, petroleum products are volatile and highly flammable, and a small spark can trigger a catastrophic explosion, causing deaths and loss of property. Call the Ghana Fire Service or Ghana Police personnel to handle the scene, or reach the National Petroleum Authority's contact center on 0302 550 380. Your life is worth more than a gallon of fuel. This Save a Life campaign is from the National Petroleum Authority.
Welcome back from the break, proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa and the NPA. So before we talk about the U.S., Ghana Embassy in the U.S., we would first want to discuss this issue about leave for lawyers and judges. It's become an issue. We mentioned earlier that the MP for Ofonsia Yerebi, Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, has gone to court, has dragged the CJ to court for asking some judges to still stay during the legal vacation to look into or listen to some specific cases. My lawyers here would let us understand what it means. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, when they say legal vacation, what really does it mean? Why are lawyers supposed to have one global vacation for all of them? We will try and understand if that's what it means, or if it's not, what's the meaning, and what this whole Kulabalu is about. So Noah, probably just in like a few minutes first, educate us on all this talk about legal vacation. What really is it about? And now we can go into the details.
So the legal vacation has grown out of a very long history that we inherited from the common law, when Ghana was basically under the crown of Britain. And in Britain, we have what we call the term of a court each year, and it's almost aligned to the Court of Parliament, right? So Parliament also goes on recess, where Parliament takes a break. So now that break from the term is what we usually call the vacation. So during Easter, for instance, there is a similar vacation. During Christmas, there is a similar break where judges get some respite from work. But the longer one is what has become the topic of discussion. Because for about 2 months, judges are deemed to be enjoying vacation somewhere. But we need to correct that because traditionally that's not what it has meant. In the past, we saw that judges were not sitting permanently as they used to be doing. So they were running circuit. A judge could sit for some time in Accra, sit some time in maybe Tema, sit sometimes. So they were running circuit throughout the legal year. And so they were given some time to cool off and rest before they resume, right? But moving away from that time and even coming to when Ghana was colonized, we realized that within that period, a lot of the judges that came to the Ghanaian courts here were from outside Ghana, coming from Britain. And so the 2 months long vacation was a period where they could travel to their country and then go and enjoy some time with their family. But let's correct the idea that although it is some time to rest, it did not mean that the judges were not working. The judge has we can categorize the judges' work into 2 ways. One is the setting of the court, and the other is the work the judge does outside court, which would be in researching, writing judgments. And in the colonial era, for instance, when in Britain, the judges used that period to just to know about the new laws that Parliament had passed. Because Parliament would have been sitting throughout the year, Parliament would have passed laws that certain judges would not even know about. So during that break, judges received some of the laws passed, and judges would get to know some of the laws that the courts have passed. Now, when we inherited this system, we inherited it with the holidays and all of that. However, currently, the legal vacation is not practiced because it is a colonial thing. It is practiced because under our Courts Act, we are allowed, the Courts Act gives the Rules of Court Committee the power, the mandate to make rules governing the sitting of courts and also prescribing the vacations of courts. So the Rules of Court Committee sat, and one of the means by which they provided for the vacations of the court was in our CI 47. So you look at the CI 47, or the 79, it details when we have these vacations, and it speaks about the Chief Justice's power to regulate how court sits even during this vacation period. So that is what we have come to know as the legal vacation that we have our judges actually enjoy. But in Ghana, the legal vacation that we see, the 2 months, is only for the superior courts. So our courts are divided into two. We have the superior courts made up of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and the regional tribunals, which are not really sitting now. Then we have the lower courts made up of the district courts, the circuit courts, and we can add the judicial committees of the various House of Chiefs. So the lower courts sit throughout the year, and the judges in the lower court just take their leave, like any ordinary worker would take in the country. But the superior courts are allowed to enjoy this long break. But within that break, because the judiciary cannot be closed down, the history has always been that the Chief Justice will designate some courts as courts that will sit during the vacation. And those courts will then receive the warrant of the Chief Justice to sit. And usually they do not go into the very serious trials. What they will usually do will be to hear interlocutory applications by their nature. If there are some emergency issues that require expedited dealing with during the vacation period, they will also deal with that. And that does not mean the Chief Justice does not have the power under the rules of court, here the CI 47, for instance, to warrant that a vacation court go into some serious matters or even conduct a trial. The Chief Justice could, but the tradition has been that ordinarily the vacation courts do not do that, right? So the issue is whether we need to maintain this long 2-month vacation for our courts, and then there is an argument on the pro-vacation side that judges need rest, lawyers need rest, And then this provides them an opportunity to rest and then write their judgments and all of that. And other people also arguing that no, 2 months is too long. And then even if judges could take rest, maybe we should shorten it. And I need to say that even in England, they have taken steps to address this issue. So in criminal matters, for instance, the Crown Court and then the Magistrate Court do not take these vacations anymore. So whilst the other courts may take these long vacations because they still have it, criminal trials still go on, right? So people are advocating that in Ghana, for criminal matters, for instance, we should adopt a mechanism where even during the vacation, our criminal courts will still be sitting. So that is like, in a nutshell, what these vacations are about.
Okay, so Doc, gleaning from what Noah has said, if the CJ has that responsibility to be able to indicate certain courts to still sit even during the vacation, where is all this misunderstanding, anger, going to courts? Where is all this coming from?
The power to issue that warrant that judges should sit during the legal vacation is an administrative function of the Chief Justice. It's not the judicial function. So I've been talking to some colleagues of mine, and they say, well, the CI 47 order 79(1) spells out clearly that the Chief Justice has the mandate to do that. But sometimes, you see, even that's the Rule 1 that's subject to the Courts Act. So there's a caveat there that he can exercise that power and authority subject to the Courts Act. That's where the issue of interpretation comes in. And because it is an administrative function, Article 296 of our Constitution also imposes a duty on all public officials who exercise administrative function to be fair and candid. Right? And then, if you go further, C also says that you must not be capricious, biased, resentful, blah, 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 blah. It says that. So what some of us were expecting is that, you see, when they went to court, the presiding judge said, well, even if you guys don't appear, I will still go ahead and then let the accused do the cross-examination. And if you look at, you see, these are issues which could have easily been resolved between the lawyers and then the Chief Justice, depending on the posture you put. This could have been easily resolved. But the lawyers are taking an entrenched position, and then the Chief Justice is giving the impression that you are trying to challenge his authority granted to him by the Constitution. Remember, the Constitution is the highest of the law of the land. Right. So that if he's exercising some authority which he derives from the Constitution, and then you seem to be challenging it, I don't think the Chief Justice will lie down taking it. So that's where the conflict is. But others have also argued that, well, because it is an administrative function where he's required to exercise some discretion, the discretionary authority should not be exercised in a very capricious and then biased manner. This is the other side of the argument. And then others also think that, well, the issue that the Chief Justice won't try while the legal vacations still continue, these are issues that has caught the national attention for a very long time. So the other side of the argument is that, well, let's deal with these issues and see to it that we come to a final conclusion. Whether the man is convicted, he knows his fate, and then maybe he can file an appeal. If he's set free, then he knows, so that we can all have. So there are two sides of the argument. So let's get it done, and then we can move on. And then, well, then why should we be so specific about certain particular issues? There are two sides of the argument. So this is where we are now. But I think legally the Chief Justice has that power and authority to do that. Right. But at the same time, I would also, I'm an academic. You know, when you have any position to take, you give both sides of the argument so that the general public would make their decision. We don't put a particular position. So you give both sides of the argument and you allow people to make their own judgment. Okay. So this is what I'm doing now as a lecturer. So others are saying that the Chief Justice has the authority, which he has indeed and in fact, per what I've just quoted on CR 47, 97, 79-1. Okay? He has the authority to do that. But others are saying, well, you have the authority, but that authority is a discretionary function. So if you are exercising discretionary function, they also quote Article 296 that discretionary function you should exercise being fair and candid, and then not being malicious or capricious. But my question is, what the Chief Justice is doing, can you characterize as malicious, capricious, or resentful?
Right. So, powers. Now, where Doc and
allow the students to make their
right.
own opinion.
Where Doc ended. Now, as you rightly said, this is an administrative, and as explained earlier by Noah, there's an administrative function that is supposed to be performed by the Chief Justice. And that is where he gives this warrant for some courts to sit. Now, the question being asked is, how does that Chief Justice determine which cases are worthy to be listened to within that period and not be cited for abusing the discretion that has come? Because the whole discussion going is that there's a particular case, out of all the cases, why is he picking that particular case? And that is one of the reasons why the opposition MPP are pushing. So how do we make sure that that discretion is not abused, knowing that it's been vested in the CJ?
First off, let me correct some inaccuracies. Have you cited the warrant issued by the Chief Justice?
No, I've not.
Has anyone cited the warrant? Did the warrant list any case? Noah?
It doesn't.
Let's correct the inaccuracies in the public. Did the warrant mention any specific case that these two judges, Justice Achibonga and the other, should listen to or should hear or determine in the course of the vacation?
No, it's open.
The issue is that these two judges have been listed as vacation judges. And already this case, they already seized with these matters. They already seized with these matters. These cases are already before them, even before the legal vacation. So because they've been listed, the suspicion is that the warrant had given them a breath of life to hear those matters. That is false information that is being bandied around and about.
But turning it around whichever way, does it not come to the same means? So let's see. Maybe.
So let me correct the inaccuracy.
So that inaccuracy, yes. So
yes,
the warrant did not speak about cases.
It did not list any case,
Yes.
any particular case. Do you understand?
Okay.
These people are already seized with these matters. Okay. But you see, could you ask whether they conduct full trial? It's up to them. Is it for them?
My question is still so is there any specific guidelines that determines, now that I know about cases, which court or which judges should sit within that period?
During
or
the
is that the
vacation?
discretion?
No, that's the judicial administrative purposes. That's their own roster. It's not subject to the determination of anybody. Don't forget that the oral cases, there are a string of oral cases that are before a number of judges, but only 2 of them have been listed for the vacation court. Do you get it? So it is the work of the judiciary to determine as to whether or not this particular judge should sit on or should be part of the vacation judges. But I'm particularly ashamed that we are having to discuss this subject matter. You know why? It's a new law. What is this? Across the aisle, The understanding is that they know, and as Noah well articulated, the administrative powers of the Chief Justice are not in doubt. Article 1254 of the 1992 Constitution expressly provides for same. And Order 79, 1 of CI 47, give the Chief Justice opportunity to determine as whether a cause or matter. But you see, the understanding is that what is a cause and what is a matter. And those who are pushing back are saying that this has been a tradition. So we normally hear emergency cases, and those we hear these motions, we listen to motions and other things. And so because of that, it should be the new normal. But they've forgotten that even Rule 4, which provides for which lists the various vacations, including the 1st August to 30th September, says it is subject to Rule 1 of Order 79, which is where the powers of the Chief Justice emanate from. So this argument that this is the tradition, so we should go by it, it's non-starter. And you see, Kojo, I'm particularly gutted by the way the lawyers who are pushing back are going about the whole issue. Just gutted. These are people young lawyers are looking up to. And I'm saying that their actions are not worthy of emulation. A Chief Justice has acted within his powers. And you see, Kojo, sometimes people say that, the decision to issue a warrant breaches Articles 23 and 296 of the 1992 Constitution. And I ask myself, who has the power to determine as whether or not, in exercising his discretion, the Chief Justice has crossed the boundary? Is it for individuals to make that determination? This is a judicial decision, which must be determined by a court of law. So when you say somewhere and say that the decision by the Chief Justice to issue a warrant breaches Articles 23 and 296, you are just speculating.
And so I won't go to court.
Yes, and so I won't go to court. This is a judicial decision that must be determined by a court of competent jurisdiction, not by an individual. And said, me, I'm on vacation, so I won't come. And you see, you are challenging an authority of an individual who has powers under the Constitution, and you are saying that I won't go to court. You are in the middle saying I won't go to court. What kind of communication is this? The kind of trajectory senior lawyers are setting in this country, it is disgusting.
Some.
Just what I'm saying, some senior lawyers are setting the trajectory they have, in fact, the path they are taking. I'm telling you, it's disastrous. Because when this whole issue came, I decided not to talk because I was asking myself, what has happened to the judiciary? And why are we allowing petty partisan politics to run down a whole judiciary? And could you have said this on this platform? That already the executive and the legislature appear to have lost some respect and integrity in the society. But when we add the judiciary to the fold, that will be the end of the society. So, Kojo, let it be known that the Chief Justice has the power to make that determination. He has the power to cause a vacation judge to hear a cause or matter, not motions. He has the power. And whether you disagree or not, it is not for you to be in the media and be bastardizing the Chief Justice. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah has decided to go to court, and I know one other person too has also gone to court. That is a fair exercise of their powers and their rights within or under the Constitution. That's a fair exercise of their powers.
So that court will listen to their case within the same legal.
But you know, Kojo, they are on vacation. These cases will be heard after October. It will be heard after October. Let's be frank with ourselves. They are on vacation. Because the vacation courts that have been listed, Court of Appeal judges will not sit. Supreme Court judges will not sit. It's only selected High Court judges. And there are some Court of Appeal judges who have been appointed as additional high court judges who are also helping. That's a different conversation. So if you have a case, if you have filed a case, a writ at the Supreme Court, know that the case will not be here, will not be heard within the vacation, the 2 months. But that's what I'm saying. It's a fair exercise of their rights and a right under the Constitution. But let it be known that some senior lawyers, particularly those that are pushing back against the authority of the Chief Justice, are doing it the wrong way. The appropriate forum, and I agree with Doc, this should be a consensual decision. Meet the lawyer on the other side. Take a decision, go to court, and relay the information to the judge. You think the judge is not a reasonable individual? The judge is not a reasonable individual. Is that the conversation? That when you go to the judge, the two of you go to the judge and you tell the judge that we have resolved that, my lord, because of ABCD, we want the case, our matter, to be adjourned to a particular date. And you see, in some of the cases that people are vociferously pushing about, some of the cases, the lawyers have just one person to cross-examine. You can do that within 2 or 3 days, after which you may be given an opportunity to file a submission of no case, which may afford you 2 or 3 weeks. By the time the judge even resolved to make his or her determination, you'll be running into October. Right. Sometimes the way we do things in this country is so disappointing.
I get your emotions. Lawyer Ishak, now,
yes.
According to Article 1254, I read, the Chief Justice shall, subject to this Constitution, be the head of the judiciary and shall be responsible for the administration and supervision of the judiciary. Yes. So what it simply means that the Chief Justice is the MD of the judiciary. If the MD has appointed certain heads of department to stay during an end of year shutdown to manage affairs, why is that an issue?
Thank you very much. Whilst you've cited, I think you tried to confine me, but I just want to beg you for a little room so that I can maneuver well. But I'll deal with that particular issue. I love the way NOAA have gone through the education, that the legal vacation is not new. It has been part of the common law. I think they said dating back to Chief Justice Cook. I mean, I have experienced it. So what I would just like to add is, yes, the magistrate courts are not, the lower courts are not sitting, because technically magistrates are not judges. Right. They decide cases, but they are not judges in England. In fact, they are not lawyers. Magistrates in England are not lawyers at all. So the reason cited for legal vacation, it doesn't even affect them. So that is why, so that's how we can take it out. And what the other thing they do is that the legal vacation, the actual work, I agree with you, they teach. They teach in the Inns of Court. As I sit here, Lincoln's Inn will be sending me information. So and so date is available if you want to choose it, because they have this particular tradition dating back where you go to your inn. There are 5 Inns of Court where you interact with the senior judges. There's debate table between students, practitioners, and judges of a new area of the law. So they debate it. And they also use it as an opportunity to travel around. And I happen to have an opportunity of shadowing a British judge at the European Court of Human Rights, whereby I had the opportunity to take part in some of these things. So let's get that right. Now, as we have inherited it from them, I think we have also practiced it for so long that there are certain conventions that are being set. And there's often a saying that if a convention is not broken, don't fix it. Because we are trying to fix certain things. That is why we have this issue upon us now. There's a long practice. The practice is that during the vacation, only urgent cases are heard. And usually the urgent cases are confined to human rights cases whereby the liberty of the individual is at stake. And a good example, people might not agree, is that of Chairman Wontumi. When you are in prison or you are temporarily detained elsewhere, such applications can be heard. These are urgent matters. I know people will read political meaning to it, but that is true. If you go over there, the urgent cases are cases such as that. Somebody is detained, they want a bill to be heard, or they believe that there's a real prospect that they will succeed on appeal, and they want to bring such a case. Such a case is an urgent case.
Now, it's true that the Constitution have given him power. But remember what Doctor said. Article 296 is very, very clear. Even if you are giving, and Article 296 is also built on the common law. It was just a common law one being codified over there. So whereby if you are administrator, you are asked to make a decision. It doesn't mean you can just make a decision at all. Your decision is confined. And Article 296 have told us how your decision is being confined. You have to deal with it in such a way that your power doesn't seem to be capricious. You don't consider irrelevant issues when making that particular decision. So if you are departing from a long-established convention, you ought to explain why. And then my friend here, power seemed to even confuse us and said, we are misrepresenting it. It's not the individual cases they said they must be heard. It's the judges. Of course, there are two sides to a coin. Either you mention the individual case or the judge dealing with the case. Logic. If you mention the judge dealing with that particular case to say it, can't we use logic to understand that you are saying that this particular case must continue? We can do that. So I don't really think we are confusing the public. There's two sides to a coin. If there is a two sides to the coin, can't we still say it's the same coin? Of course we can say that. So we are not confusing the public. It's very, very clear. Maybe you seem to be confusing the public. Now, and he asks a question. He doesn't know what has gone with our judiciary. Of course we know what is wrong with the judiciary. It's an NDC. When they were in opposition, they said the judiciary, the Supreme Court was unanimous 5. They never agree with everything about the judiciary. Honorable here is telling us to trust the Attorney General when they spent 8 years saying that our Attorney General was bad. He's telling us to have hope and faith in the Attorney General.
So it's simply payback.
It's not a payback. It is, they have spoken to it, and they have spoken against the judiciary to the extent that 2024, the Afrobarometer report, revealed that there was something wrong with our judiciary. So if you want to know what is wrong with our judiciary, it's not today. Ask them that particular question. Unless, of course, you are a Catholic, and if you want a new beginning in Catholicism, of which my wife is a Catholic, I can tell you, if you want a new beginning, you have to go and confess that what you said previously was a lie, and that this is the actual truth. The Ghanaians can begin to take it seriously, but you don't come and pretend that you didn't say what you said the other time. So go to the confession box and say what you have said previously is a lie, but don't just say, let's have a new chapter, without telling that the chapter that we have written. This is a chapter, we are continuing the chapter. And if you want to paint a new picture, let's get it right. So for me, the Chief Justice, yes, I mean, the lawyer refusing to go to court, I think I agree with you that things could have been done in a better way. You see that? Because at the end of the day, we don't want to throw the baby off with the bath off with the baby, isn't it? Yeah. We want to make sure that we still salvage the judiciary. I think our judiciary can still be salvaged. Their reputation has been damaged. We can salvage it. Because you can't practice democracy without an impartial body or an independent body such as judiciary. Because at the end of the day, when we disagree, a body might decide. But if we are all suspicious of that body, and you don't understand the foundation of that suspicion, we know it. Our Speaker of Parliament, the current Speaker, have said that our Supreme Court was in bed with the then executive when Akufo-Addo was in power, and that they needed to repent. We hate him. A suspicion is built. So if you now make a decision, and that decision seems to have broken with the convention, with the everyday convention that the judiciary have always practiced, one is right to question that particular decision. Yes, we can question it. Power said we shouldn't question it. We can question it. You are questioning it, that's why they are going to court. But as to how the appropriateness of the way the lawyers have acted that they cannot go, as for Hanan lawyer, I understand he is sick. So as for sickness, I think we can excuse it. But Atache is not sick. But the manner he has gone about it, I think you can question it. But nevertheless, we have every right to question the decision of the Chief Justice. And I think Kojo Nkrumah have taken the right decision by going to court. Right. Again, I'm not sure. I think that's jurisprudence is settled. Whether the Chief Justice could even sit on the case. I think there was a previous case.
It's not settled in Ghana.
It's not settled.
Chief Justice can sit in Ghana panel.
Okay, he can. Okay. Right. So that aspect would need to look into it.
Right. Thank
you.
So
okay, yes.
Yeah. Honorable. I mean, lawyers
haven't listened
to the lawyers.
That's right.
You and I.
Yes.
Do we still think this whole legal vacation is still relevant in this era? Why are judges not probably going on normal leave like everybody else? Plan your leave within the year, go. Other courts are sitting. Cases are moved around, so all of them don't go at a particular time.
Yeah, with that, if I say yes or no, if we should change it, then it might go back to Parliament and they look at it if it is a constitutional provision. And discretionary powers that are given to Chief Justice, if now we take it off and make it that the Chief Justice will not take a discretionary or administrative decision, then we look at that side. But that said, you see, the way things are going, some of us are beginning to feel that some people thought Ghana is for them, and at any time they could do or want Ghanaians to follow them with their decision, whether right or wrong. And when Ghanaians say that, no, your decision is wrong, they will go a shouting. And that is very, very, very bad. And that is where I agree with my brother, that these judicial matters that are coming to the public domain and the way they are coming is so absurd, breeding indiscipline in the judiciary. Those who ought to know, especially some of the senior ones, those who ought to know, they are leading the Ghanaians astray. Because if in 2008, Atacha during the presidential runoff could make a statement that the Chief Justice have powers to call for a sitting during vacation, and today he is on top of the tree saying that they shouldn't go, then I ask myself, where is he leading us? It is time we call them by their names. Where is Atacha leading us? If I open this for you, Radio Gold have his record that he said so. That viewers, just give me 1 minute. I have to open this. You see, it is very, 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 very bad. This is it. You see?
Can I have a look at it?
Yes.
Then I'll send it to my...
That is what Atacha said. 2008. So when it suits you, then you want to carry the nation as if it is your property. Who are we doing this to or towards? And that is very bad. Am I lying?
Okay, so the quote here, which we would check, indicates that, and it's from Radio Gold.
Yes.
It says that Court Order 79 allows the Chief Justice to empanel a court any day. Any day includes vacation. So we'll check this.
Check and let public see. And let us listen to the people who are talking. We cannot join that bunch of indisciplined group to mislead Ghanaians. If you say something today, you should go and check what he said 2008 during presidential runoff. You remember we did about 2 or 3.
So that's 18 years ago.
Yes, that is where he made the statement. So no, Ghana belongs to everybody. Ghana belongs, and we are all people who can read and understand. Discretionary powers are discretionary powers, and nobody can direct a chief justice. All the lawyers, if you're a chief justice today, wouldn't you love it? It takes hard work to get to that office, and that is why the Constitution has made a provision for you. Even judges in their seats, they have discretionary powers. They have. They can decide to give you a number of years in jail or reduce it and defend it. What can you say? Where are these some of these senior lawyers leading us in this country? When we talk, they don't want us to talk.
Why are they doing this to our judiciary? If we and I, Daniel Kwesi Ashama, criticize the previous Attorney General, I am right. Why should Attorney General be tampering with a witness like Jakpa? That he should lie so that they imprison somebody. That alone has caused the filing of the nolle prosequi by the new Attorney General. That the behavior of the Attorney General, former Attorney General Godfrey Dami, is so absurd. The whole Attorney General, they give you the power. You were tampering with a witness. So the cases that you are dealing with during your time, are they by parochial interest or by law? Or by law? Look at the judgment of Sedina. When we talk today, the NDC come together. Look at the judgment. Where a new government that came went into negotiation of the cars that were to be purchased. And then you make payment. And then you are using the previous decision that is taken by the CEO to imprison him. Her. What type of judiciary were we in? Now we want to write it. That's why I'm saying that let us give. We are right to criticize Honorable Dr. Ayine as Attorney General. We are right. But we should be mindful and make sure that the criticisms that we are peddling on him is helping to shape the judiciary of the nation, not for parochial interest or political gains, so that I'll get power, more votes. It shouldn't be so. MPP have been in the business of deceiving their supporters. And today that the truth is on the table, you see the way they are losing. Whatever they say, they are lying. They've done that especially so to my brothers and sisters in Ashanti region, where is their stronghold. So we shouldn't be dabbling into such things. If the CI, is it 71?
Yeah, order 79.
Order 79, CI 47. Make provisions for the decisions that the Chief Justice has taken today. If we don't like it as a judiciary, you have been going, write proposal for it to be amended. But when the person have taken decision based on this CI and Order 79, then you come out to say that you not go to court. What are you teaching the young lawyers, that very beautiful gentlemen that we are having here? What are you teaching them?
Ghana, the president of the young lawyers.
You see the way you're speaking. So when you have lawyers like this, and my young brother, as for my dog,
Dog is a senior lawyer.
Yeah, he's a senior lawyer, but he's not among the few that I'm talking about.
You know what? I'm not young.
Now,
wait. Now I'm only playing injury time.
You are just waiting for your bui settlement.
Yes, for that one, I'll help you to work on it. I am going to speak to Dr. Honorable Atufosi.
Okay,
that they should look at that matter.
Yeah, they should
clear
look
it
at
and let us move forward.
They should look at it.
Do you get me right? So we expect the young lawyers to actually take steps that will inure to the nation's benefit as far as the judiciary and issues concerning law are concerned in this country. But those who have been misleading us as Ghanaians, they should stop it. They have to stop it.
It starts with you.
The MPP people who are telling us always to go to court, they said they will not go to court. They are telling us the time they were in power, anything we cough, go to court, go to court. Today they said they will not go to court.
They say you today now you are saying, have you read the judgment? In the past, you're also telling them that it's not
even
the judgment.
This judgment, I don't know, even at that time if we read it, look at the way Sedina managed to get lawyers to appeal on this type of judgment. Do you get me? It takes a big job.
Right.
So please, we are pleading with you. If yesterday you said we should go to court, today we are going to court, and you who asked us to go to court, you say you not go to court. Then who are you? What are you teaching us?
Thank you.
Honorable Atacha, go to court. Go to court and stop shouting.
Make a comment.
Then I'll move to the next one because I have just a few minutes to go.
So
Add
just,
more 1 hour.
just something to close on this issue. 2 points. One is that I've heard the argument that it is novel, it has never happened, that a vacation court would conduct a trial. we need to let the Ghanaians know that it is not true. Chief Justices in the past have exercised their discretion under the Constitution to allow trials to be conducted. I have been reliably informed by those who were there during the time that Judge Chikata's trial, for instance, a part of it went on during the vacation. Even at a point when his lawyer was not well, Judge Chikata was called upon to cross-examine the lawyer on the other side, right? When we look at Ato Forson's case, part of it went on throughout the vacation. So judges and
I think even Judge Kwesin too had a similar.
Yes, and even Judge Kwesin's case, we remember Judge Kwesin's case that he went to court every single day. This is very novel, but we created opportunity for that to happen. And I think there was this case, I think Kabiru's case 2024, there was an election petition that also went to court. The matter was heard during the vacation. So we need to set the record straight that it is not out of the blue. It has not happened that we don't have trials in any situation at all. The Chief Justice can exercise that mandate. But then to end on this, I have heard my senior attaché make a comment that I want to comment on, which is that there is nothing special about the two cases before the two specialized courts, right? And like Powers rightly said, these judges are not there to hear just those two cases. They are hearing other cases because it's their courts. But we need to say that in Ghana today, there are two issues that are seriously important to the ordinary Ghanaian. One is the issue of galamsey, and the other is the issue of corruption. So they deserve special attention. And so earlier this year, the Chief Justice stated, I think it was last year, that they were going to establish specialized courts to hear the issue of galamsey, because we have about 600 galamsey cases going through our courts, and we all agreed with that. Now, the Chief Justice also said that some of these cases that are coming through our courts on allegations of corruption by politicians, we need to have courts to deal with these cases very well and expeditiously. And so the two courts that have been given the warrant to sit, remember, they are now tagged as specialized courts. Specialized court 1, specialized court 2. And that means that some of the cases that will go to those courts are special cases. I disagree with anybody who will say anywhere that corruption cases are not special. They are special to the ordinary guy. Remember, there are a number of cases that had gone through our judiciary for 8 years. We could not find any resolution to them involving corruption. To the ordinary Ghanaian, there is the need to address these issues of corruption quickly through our judicial process. So it would be wrong if the courts are compelling judges to maybe cut off some portions of the trial and then come out with judgments speedily. No. But the courts are saying that, look, throughout the vacation, let's allow these specialized courts that are hearing these special cases to sit and address these issues. I don't see any issue wrong with it. But of course, you can't challenge the discretion of the Chief Justice. And as we have all said at this table, the right approach is to go to court to challenge it, which Honorable Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah has done. But for our senior lawyers to say we won't go to court, that is something that a young lawyer like me looking upon, I would be very disenchanted, because that would not augur well with me. Doesn't mean in the future.
Yes, choose your teachers well.
So that's what I would say.
Not everybody on the school compound can be a good mentor. So choose your mentors well. But gentlemen, I have a few minutes, so we'll just move straight to the next issue. Like I mentioned earlier, we were informed, or we've read from some reports, that the Ghana embassy in the United States created a mirror website page, where the official page was redirecting applicants there, and on that page they were being charged some unauthorized fees for processing of passports, i.e. the postal services, and also advisory services. It's been calculated to be in the excess of $19 million. I mean, the figures have a problem with that one, because the math done is basically taking the number of passports and assuming that everybody who applied for that passport went through that channel. And so it's done a rough math, but that's audit. So we'll leave that one.
Maybe
but
just 5 million.
Yes, but bottom line is that has been done. And from what you said, two different consulates came and still did not see anything wrong, and this action went on. I'll start with Lawyer Ishak. We'll just do 3 minutes so we can be able to close on this. But this issue came up with, I think, Okudzeto Ablakwa was the one who first indicated, I think about a year ago, that it's something that has come up and it's being investigated. Now the report has come out. I don't know what your reaction to this.
Yes, as we always said, everything needs to be investigated. These are allegations that have been made. I think I have an experience in that particular area. When you go to the UK, for example, the British High Commission at Highgate, yes, it's true that sometimes you are directed to other websites to book an appointment and to do other things. But is this unique to Ghana? No. If you have contacted other embassies, especially if you are looking for a Schengen visa, sometimes it's very difficult to get an appointment. An appointment is usually given to people who pay higher. Or if you want it urgently, private sector is able to enable you to do that. As to whether this constitutes corruption, I don't know. It depends on the arrangement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ghana. If they were going outside official guidelines, obviously, or if they were using a particular company that give them kickbacks, then there could be an issue over there. So I don't know what was the official stand, whether they had gone contrary to official directives, or if any money was made, was it made for the benefit of Ghana, or individual people just line up their pocket? And also the ownership of those companies. Could it be that those officers in the Ghana High Commission or Ghana Embassy in the United States are set up their own private companies to be doing this? Or whether alternatives were being provided. So
There's
sometimes...
one particular gentleman whose name keeps coming, the IT person.
Okay.
He seems to be it's what?
Yes.
I think Samuel something Kwating.
Yes.
Steven or something Kwating.
Yes.
And he's the one being, I'm using the word fingered advisedly.
Okay.
He's the one being fingered in
this
all through because
Yes.
he's the one alleged to have created other companies that are running the services. He's the one who created the auxiliary landing page for the payment and all that. So it seems, and the suggestion is that, because if you look at the whole calculation properly, what you notice is that how much money came back to the embassy as welfare compared to what they are claiming has been lost. It's not the same. So that means there's an amount that did not come back, which has gone into individual pockets.
For me, the information I've seen so far have not answered my question. Like United States, for example, is a massive country. If a courier service can do it cheaper, for example, if the embassy is in Washington, you are in Chicago or somewhere in California, flying over there and getting a courier company to send you, most people will get a courier company. But as I said, the nature of the setup, we need to question it. Whether the setup was such a way that people have alternative options. Or do you necessarily have to deal with this particular courier company and the ownership of it? So if the ownership of it is such a way that members of the embassy were the owners of that company, I mean, people will frown upon it. And what was the official policy? Was this sanction at the highest level? Maybe all those things we need to provide for the investigation.
So, Noah, I've read some extracts from the investigation. Now, most of the things that are being cited are more ethical, i.e. there's a conflict of interest, where if indeed it's staff members who have created companies that are virtually benefiting, there's a possibility or you intentionally delay it so that the person will use that route, so that's possible. But like Ishak mentioned, lawyer Ishak mentioned, a lot of us have applied for passport and visa in this country. There are options where you can choose for you to even be notified by call or by text when your visa, your passport is ready for somebody to courier and bring it to you, and pay a special fee for it. So is the issue all about the ethical bit of it, or there's more to it, reading what you have read?
I think there is more to it. I think when you look at the reports that we have seen, and then you are following the story, I think it calls for something more than just an issue with wanting an express delivery of your passport or some express application process. Because we need to remember that, and that's one, for me, that's one of the issues I found very difficult to understand when I read the report, which was, remember that the embassy decided to create a bank account. According to them, was supposed to be used for some welfare benefits. now with a bank called Citibank, if my memory serves me.
Yes, it's correct.
Citibank wrote back to them. What's the source of money coming into this account?
So normally when you are opening an account, as part of the account opening process, you are supposed to indicate your source of funds. So that one came during. Citibank wrote when they noticed that the source that they had indicated was different from the source that was bringing the money.
So that in itself raised a red flag. Then one of the things I also found out was when payments were made. Because the issue was, you are receiving money from outside the embassy's ordinary operations. It's coming from a third party. Then when you receive that, it goes to the welfare of your people. That alone should raise a red flag. If I have a company and I've created a welfare policy for my employees, and then there's a third party paying money into that account, paying for their welfare, what is the relationship between myself and then that
internally generated funds?
How is that internally generated? To me, it raised a lot of concern.
But the explanation given by the embassy, from what we read, is that, okay, so the agreement we had with that agency that is supposed to do the courier service is that because you are not resident in the embassy, there are some parts of the administrative job that the embassy staff will do. For instance, the putting together of the passport, the packaging, the sealing. Yours would be just to courier. So for that job that we are doing, it's not the embassy's job. Pay us for that job. So that amount that was paid into the account represents the job done by the embassy. But because they can't identify the individual people, they agree that money should be used as welfare to cover. So that's their explanation.
But you see, that explanation is quite troubling. Because ordinarily, if the third party is paying that money, it should go into an account of the embassy itself. The embassy receives it. Then the embassy decides that this portion is being earmarked for welfare. And then from that, you pay to them. But even look at the payments that were made. Right? I saw, I think the ambassador's name appear twice. What was the welfare basis for those payments? Right?
If you go by the response by Kofi Tonto, what indicates that they decided to pay those ones to the staff, either maybe if you have a child. So if they say something significant happens to your life, i.e., you get married, you give death. So maybe this person had a death, 2 deaths, or 2 children, or 2 marriages, or a marriage and a death.
So that's very possible. But I'm thinking about the red flags it raises. Because Kofi Tonto has been able to say that I think he had a child, and so he was given $800. Right. The ambassador received 2 payments. One was around, I think, $3,000 or so. So did she give birth to like 3 children? What did she do within?
I have 2 minutes. Let me just go across
within that period to warrant that.
So Doc, you have short time, so you can cede your time also if you don't want to say it.
I've lived outside there. I've had some experience with our embassies because you see, Germany is such a huge place. So sometimes instead of going to Berlin, you can either go to Düsseldorf, Munich, or Frankfurt. It's such a huge place. Yeah. And then one time when you go there, you cannot have access to the embassy. So they have some organizations, third parties, who provide the services. Yeah. And sometimes if you want to deal with them directly, you have to get your own registered address. You put all the, and then you register it before you send it to them, so that when they finish, they will post it to you instead of sending it to a third party to carry out the courier services. So this is what I know. Even in a place like Düsseldorf, they have a certain place, so that Ghanaians who live around that area, you go there. If you need a passport, you go there and then apply from there. But you pay about twice the price of your passport. Yep. Because people don't want to leave Düsseldorf and travel all the way to Berlin. So this is what they were doing. I wonder whether it is the same agreement here. But you see, the embassy staff that we send outside, and sometimes the behavior, the conduct they put, reflect
the country,
the people that we have in this country.
Sorry, I'm rushing you, but yes, Powers.
Koyo, we must understand that when you read the reports, the common themes running through it, and not only that report, but look at other reports duly done by the Auditor General. The common themes are: 1, weak corporate governance, including pathetic internal controls. 2, collusion by Ghanaians. public officials, together with private individuals, to plunder the state. 3, financial mismanagement. And the 4 is poor regulatory infrastructure. Could you ask yourself, of all the report that the Auditor General had done, which said report had been sent to Parliament and discussed, what has been the outcome? From 1992 to date, tell me if there has been any outcome from the report conducted by the Auditor General.
A former MP is here, so he will tell us.
So Honorable will tell us.
Yeah.
Honorable will tell us whether they have done anything with it.
Yes, I agree with the discussion going on. But you see, Public Accounts Committee, when you go there, and they mention that this money, you have to pay it. You pay. But that's why you pay in silence. It doesn't come to public. You will pay. And if maybe after other negotiations, okay, they see that maybe you are not wrong so much or it's because of exigencies of the situation, then they'll give you amount. That one, you will pay. If you don't pay, you use your pension money.
Give you a haircut.
I tell you, that one people have been paying in silence. They will not tell you, they will pay. Sometimes they will let you be on the seat, but you'll be paying it. Your monthly salary will be deducted. I got to office and somebody have taken an end salary. Do you get it right? So before I got to the office, and I was called to Public Accounts Committee. And the Public Accounts Committee says that before you come next year, ensure that this money is collected. And I've collected the money. I wrote to the bank. Yes, I wrote to the bank.
I watched you.
I wrote to the bank that, no, this person, take the money. Because I don't want to go and answer any question again. And it has been done. So people have been paying, but paying quiet. They know.
We need a noise. We need a noise.
Okay, the person who is paying, he will not have the opportunity to come here. So if
you make the noise, but Parliament must help us. Yes.
Right. Even the Parliament, it is the agency that they've asked to do so that is going to do so. When the Parliament sits again, new Public Accounts Committee, they may forget about that until a new one is brought. That's why we don't use
Okay, thank you
but
very much.
I agree, and
I
would like to say that we should be peaceful and let the investigations and the law take its course. We shouldn't bastardize anybody. This issue came before election, so it is not the investigations are going on. So let us be cool with them and see what.
Thank you very much, former MP for Buem constituency. Honorable, you said you're ED for where?
Complementary Education Agency. Formerly the non-formal education.
Okay.
The non-formal.
Don't say you see. Like I said the day that I met Dr. Kaniso.
Right.
They say complementary. Non-formal. I say,
Thank you to Dr. Kweku, Anani Jine, to Austin Kwabena, Braco Powers, to Noah Adamte, and to lawyer Ishak. Thank you to my viewers also for staying glued to your set this morning. All the feedbacks we've gotten also, contributions. We apologize for not being able to read. The discussions have been very engaging this morning, but thank you for your feedback. My name remains Kojo Vanes. See you same time next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Agenda was brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. And National Petroleum Authority, NPA, where customer care meets excellence.